Let's take a look at the Spectrum Sports watch list. Kavika, who do you eye out as far as a potential game breaker for the Bows?
Hey, thanks for letting me pick and select this guy. But again, quick shout out to Bishop Gorman winning the state title this past week. Micah Alejado's former team. But yes, Micah Alejado's my guy. He's the guy that we'll see what type of torch he carries throughout this game. There's going to be some bumps, going to be some bruises, but everyone's excited to see what this young man is all about. He's not just a novelty. He's out to prove that he's not a novelty. He's a guy that really can put some numbers up against big-time competition, regardless of what everyone paints him into that picture of being not having that off-the-bus look physicality-wise, but he's the guy that gets it done at the end of the day. I'm excited about him.
Having eliminated themselves from bowl eligibility with a crushing road loss 2 weeks ago, the Rainbow Warriors are back home on friendly turf to close out the 2024 season. With a grateful nod to the seniors and with eyes looking ahead to 2025, tonight Hawaii finds itself with a chance to play spoiler to the hopes of a resurgent New Mexico team. The Lobos want to go bowling. Hawaii stands in their way. It's Aloha night in Manoa. With that, we welcome you inside Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex on a stunning night here in Manoa as the New Mexico Lobos, 5-6 overall, 3-3 in the Mountain West, take on the Rainbow Warriors, 4-7 on the season, 2-4 in the league. Aloha, everybody. Next to Rich Miano, I'm Kanoa Leahy, and yes, it is the season finale. That means it's senior night for Hawaii. They will be bidding a symbolic aloha to 23 seniors at the conclusion of this ball game, but ironically, it's a freshman who is owning some of the pregame headlines. Micah Alejado, as we have learned, will make his first career start at quarterback for the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, and 2 weeks ago, he was immaculate. This week, he was a great leader. When you talk about the it factor, he has it. When he threw that touchdown pass against Utah State, he had that swagger. He walked off the field with a sense of confidence, and he's shown that this week. And Timmy Chang wants to show what the future of this program is all about. It starts with that young man.
All right, well, let's go even more granular. Take us through the Kaiser Permanente keys to the game, Rich.
Yeah, let's start with New Mexico. Debonair Dampier. That is a tongue twister. Dual threat quarterback is the best dual threat quarterback in the league. 5 double triples. What does that mean? Over 100 yards rushing and passing 5 times this season. He goes, the Lobos go. New Mexico on defense, lock them up. Mouse Davis always used to say the way to beat the run and shoot is to have 4 DBs that are better than their 4 wide receivers. Hawaii O. It's Micah time, the much heralded signal caller debut. As the former head coach Nick Rolovich once said, ball out, 2.3 seconds, RPO, quick game, let's go. Hawaii D, senior Pau Hana, Logan Taylor, Nalu Emerson, Daniel Sauce Williams, Elijah Robinson, Cam Stone, Sebo, and many more defensive senior pride.
Taking a look at first-year head coach for New Mexico, Bronco Mendenhall. He has made a reputation of being able to build programs back up. Did it at BYU, did it at Virginia, and doing it again this year for New Mexico as they are on the brink with one more victory of being bowl eligible. He had been retired, quote-unquote, for 2 years. He also has 8 of his former players at both BYU and Virginia on his coaching staff. But a guy who's familiar with Albuquerque, served as the defensive coordinator at New Mexico under Rocky Long back at the turn of the century. Timmy Chang on the other side, he is in his 3rd season atop this program and wants to send his seniors out with a victory. And really in the grand scheme of things, as people will evaluate and measure 3 years of the Timmy Chang regime, this game, the result of which could be very important for Timmy Chang and the continued success of this program.
Yeah, especially coming off of 2 weeks ago, right? That was just a disaster, offensively, defensively, and special teams. Hopefully a one-off, an anomaly, so this is big.
New Mexico won the coin toss, elected to receive. It is D'Angelo Mays on the return, and he will be upended inside the 20. So that's where the Lobos will get started, and that gives us a chance to introduce Devin Dampier. This guy has been something special. He is 3rd in the Mountain West in passing, rushing, and scoring. 3,657 total yards, most in one season in New Mexico history. He can do it in just about every way imaginable, Rich.
He certainly can, and the ball's in his hands every time, so look for him. That mesh pull, read, RPO, quick game.
And we already have a penalty flag. Looks like we're going to get a false start.
False start. Number 18 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Michael Catone is the head referee wearing the white hat here this evening. And so New Mexico, a team that's scoring 33.8 points per game. They are 4th in FBS in total offense, averaging 484 yards per game. And it is going to be a run here for Eli Sanders, who is a perfect complement to Devin Dampier. Both those guys can gash you up out of the backfield. The Hawaiian Financial FCU starting lineups. You have at the skill positions Bruckler, Medford, Wysong, Davis, and Sanders, who was on that carry. And then up front, Owens, Beckett, Alian, Pierce, and Agnello. As we return back to live action, and another carry there for Eli Sanders. And that's going to be stopped shy of the line to gain. So a 3rd and about 2 here coming up on this opening possession for the Lobos.
A couple of missed tackles on that first down call.
And in motion, that's Wysong, and this is going to be a keeper for Dampier, and he gets the first down, and just a glimpse of what makes him so tough. Cam Stone coming up and making the stop there defensively for the Rainbow Warriors, but Devin Dampier so hard to contain.
Yeah, and basically what he's doing on that mesh is reading the end man on the line of scrimmage as they try to change the math with either a pulling guard or some type of formula to get extra players, but he is explosive, and expect that early and often.
He pulls it that time and then swings it to the far side, and a good ankle tackle made out there by Sebo Brown from Anniston, Alabama, one of the seniors on the roster.
And it's good to see Sebo Brown out there because he was not out there the first series against Utah State. They went up top. He has been so consistent, not only in the coverage game, but also tackling in the open field.
That was Luke Wysong on the reception there. And this is going to be a toss. This is Sanders. And again, good response there by Hawaii, keeping it to a minimal gain. You had Peter Manuma, who left that game against Utah State early, did have the benefit of the bye week to work his way back in. Good to see him out there, but he looks a little shaken up. And this is a guy who has been through his fair share of injuries this season, has played through a ton of them. All right, let's take a look at the Hawaii defense now. You have Tariq Jones, Sauce Williams, Malachi Finau, and Elijah Robinson up front. The linebackers, Nalu Emerson coming off of his best performance 2 weeks ago. Logan Taylor, Elijah Palmer, who had a pick against Utah State. And then in the defensive secondary, Stone, Manuma, Mendiola Jensen, Devin King, the listed starting corner. But we will also see a lot of Sebo Brown out there at that corner position as well. Here's another replay. Give you a sense of perhaps what Peter Manuma experienced here.
You're going to see a little bit of a head-to-head type of contact. Not so sure that it's not his shoulder. He secures the tackle, but he's still on the ground. And again, that was the first series, I think, if I recall correctly.
It was early on. He played only five plays in that game.
So Peter Manuma has played banged up. He is by far the most consistent safety on this Rainbow Warrior team. And he's not only that, he's kind of a spiritual leader and a vocal leader.
Yeah, had suffered an injury earlier in the Boise State game as well. Ended up missing 2 games. That snapped a streak of 26 straight starts. So he had been kind of considered a bit of an Iron Man prior to some of these late season issues.
Led the team in tackles last year, always around the football. Really a good middle of the field defender. He is so important to this Rainbow Warrior defense.
One of the guys who is due to return next season. And so obviously that is a consideration as Hawaii looking to take a little bit of momentum, if at all possible, into the offseason. They are scheduled once again to hit the spring session a little early because there will be no bowl game for this Rainbow Warrior squad. Dampier off of the fake handoff. Rolling, is protected, throws it deep, and it is incomplete. The coverage back there by Cam Stone.
Cam Stone just running the deep post, staying on the upfield shoulder, making a play on the ball. That guy is so legit, he will be well missed. That senior has been consistent all year long.
Yeah, that was Wysong again, the intended target. Stone, the 3rd-ranked cornerback in FBS in overall defense grade by Pro Football Focus, 89.2 his evaluated measurement, and that forces a punt here for New Mexico. Aaron Rodriguez will do the punting. And Nick Senecal is back there to receive here for Hawaii, and he's going to try to forge a return. He's iced out of bounds at the 20. Penalty flag comes out late on the sequence.
Good punt, good hang time, good coverage.
42-yard punt there for Rodriguez, averaging 42 yards per punt this season. It was a a Mountain West Conference second-teamer a couple of years ago. Not only is it senior night for some of the Hawaii players, and obviously the last regular season game for the seniors on the New Mexico side as well, but we have several members of the officiating crew who we are told will be retiring here this offseason. So a bit of a senior night aloha as well for them. The two guys to the right of your screen there, that's the head judge, Michael Catone, side judge, Richard Corona. A couple of guys who will be living a much more stress-free life here in the near future.
Both by the receiving team. Holding, number 80. That foul was during the return. That foul will be declined. Holding, number 4. That will be a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Literally going off in the sunset. Look at as the sun sets.
That's
what
right.
a beautiful setting to be your last college football game.
Yeah, not a bad place to do your last game, I would say.
They might enjoy it, stay a few extra days in Hawaii.
And here is Micah Alejado. We learned just a few minutes ago, I guess you could say, within the hour, that Micah Alejado was going to make his first career start, 12-13 on the year, but got most of his action a couple of weeks ago in Logan, Utah against Utah State in that lopsided defeat. But he was 11 for 12 in that game for 111 yards and had a 44-yard touchdown pass to Dekel Crowdis.
We were kept kind of in the dark who would be the starting quarterback, but when we saw Braden Shager with his surfboard and his surf shorts and everything else, we knew he wasn't playing this evening.
Back judge Michael Aronian, the third member of the officiating crew, scheduled to retire. So, yeah, this worked out nicely for their schedule, making this the last game. Hawaii backed up after the penalties. Alejado, first throw is a good one to Spencer Curtis. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. How about that toss on the first snap for the True Frosh?
Cover 2, hole shot, perfect throw. Spencer Curtis, watch where this ball's placed. The safety's coming over. It's an easy catchable ball in a perfect location. Great throw, Micah.
So a first down, ball spotted at the 28-yard line. A gain of 22 there on that connection. Now the give is to Landon Sims running to the near side. He busts through the initial wave of defenders, and he'll get a solid game. Take a look at the rest of the skill position starters. Jonah Panoke, Senecal, Ashlock, Curtis, who made that catch. Tylen Hines listed as the starting running back. Kaena DeCambra, he's been a constant for this offensive line. Milo Vale, Muasau Pehopa, and Luke Felix Fualalo, the big fellas up front.
I think Landon Sims is playing as well as anybody on offense, averaging 5.1 yards per carry.
Alejado has room to run. This is another thing he can do. Fairly fleet of foot, and he is driven out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Randolph Kapai credited with the stop there. Moso Oipala Tuitele, along with Santana and Devin Brant Epps, the guys up front. Gabe Lopez, Dimitri Johnson, Kapai, who will be credited with the stop on that last play at the linebacker core. Williams, Pola, Gates, Ellis, Avinger, and Speech. 9-yard gain there for Alijado. This is a draw play to Landon Sims in this Hawaii offense, at least on the first few plays. Moving a bit as they get all the way to midfield after being backed up deep following the penalties on the punt return.
Yeah, you saw that great hole shot on cover 2 that Micah threw. Then you saw the twitch, the quickness to understand if the defensive end doesn't get to the level of the ball and crashes down inside. Take it, run with it, be that dual threat.
Here's a toss to the near side. This is Ashlock, and he is hit immediately. And New Mexico's Nigel Williams there to make the stop. But this is a New Mexico defense that has been much maligned here. They are last in the Mountain West Conference in scoring defense, pass defense, and rush defense. However, they've been playing much better in second halves here as of late. So we will get to some of those numbers, obviously, as this game wears on. But early on is when they've been getting hit. Alejado, he's going to throw to the far sideline, and that one drifts out of bounds. He was looking in the direction of Pofele Ashlock.
5-man pressure, right? Micah felt that, throwing the corner out, slightly overthrown, but good concept for Hawaii's offense.
Alijado out of Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas, originally from Eva Beach, but a guy who was a winner of a national championship. He was named a National Junior Player of the Year.
And
Hawaii going for it here on 4th and 5.
Yeah, and this is a big down. Obviously, Bishop Gorman taking the state championship of Nevada last evening. St. Louis of Hawaii winning the Hawaii State Championship.
So a little roll of the dice here, and a perfect strike on the money to Jonah Panoke in stride. He gets first down yardage and then some. Drew Speech, who was making his first start in the defensive secondary here for New Mexico with the tackle.
Jonah Panoke, the Z receiver, the #1 receiver, the furthest away, comes all the way across, kind of a mesh concept out of that trips route. Really nicely executed, very catchable football. It's good to see Jonah Panoke having big games recently.
Yeah, playing some of his best football of his career here down the stretch of his senior campaign. That was a gain of 18 there. Alijado, for his career, over 9,000 passing yards, 125 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions at the prep level. And that's another strike right into the face mask there of Pofele Ashlock, and that will move Hawaii forward positively as well.
And that's what they call the go out of the trips concept. That's pure run and shoot football. And the difference is getting rid of the football quickly. Pre-snap reading, coming to the line of scrimmage, already knowing where you're going with the ball, and then getting rid of the football. Micah Alejado showing that he's a big-time quarterback thus far.
Yeah, it was 12 of 13 on the season coming in. He's 4 of 5 for 51 yards to start here on this opening drive. Gets rid of it again quickly, but off the mark as he was looking in the direction of Dekel Crowdis.
Crowdis with that speed has the highest average per catch of this Rainbow Warrior team, but hasn't been that guy we thought would replace Stephen McBride, but at the same time, he is still a big play threat.
So a 3rd and 1 coming up here for Hawaii. A drive that started deep in its own territory.
Very deep.
This is going to be a handoff, and this will get forward for first down yardage. Cam Barfield, and look at the pile still moving as he gets some assistance from some of his mates.
And Timmy Chang talked about that offensive line, staying low, their pad level, getting north and south, not so much east and west, and really being aggressive in the run game. And you talked about Kayana DeCamber really playing solid for this Rainbow Warrior offensive line, most consistent lineman.
And so Hawaii in the red zone. They have had their struggles in the red zone this season. New Mexico has had some struggles defensively. Opponents are scoring 98% of the time in the red zone. 80% of the time they're scoring touchdowns. Can Hawaii take advantage here? Alijado with time. That is a throw to Curtis that gets home, and he gets inside the 5. And this offense appears to have a rhythm here on this first possession.
Rhythm is a great word, because that flat route was taken by the corner who rolled up. So what does he do? He goes to his second receiver, the inside guy, who throttles down in that hole. Again, good throw, good concepts, being on the same page.
So 13 yards there. This is the 12th play coming up here on a drive that started at Hawaii's own 6-yard line. Landon Sims is the setback, standing next to Micah Alejado. He's going to swing it out to the far side. That is Ashlock. Touchdown. Penalty flag is thrown. We might have a pick here.
It's a pick, yeah. It happened before the throw, and it came quickly from the side judge.
And this has been all too familiar a scenario for Hawaii. Penalties when they have been on the doorstep and when they have been knocking on the touchdown door. Long conversation here between the officials.
Offense calls this a rub route. Defense calls it a pick.
Yeah.
Which is illegal.
No announcement just yet.
Offensive pass interference. Number 1 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Remains first down.
All right, let's bring in our rules analyst here, Kyle Galdera. They called Pinoque on the penalty. I'm not sure if they got the number right here. What do you see?
Yeah, thanks to Noah. And Rich, you're spot on there with that rub route concept UH runs here. And Pinoque, he was out of the play. It's actually going to be on number 8.
Yeah, Tamatoa Mukiao Atimalala, number 8 there.
And normally what you want to do is kind of just scrape across that defender, make as little contact as you can. Just get in his way. But what you can't do is extend your hands and make it obvious for the official standing right there. Easy call.
Great definition description, because you cannot just stand there and block. You want to act like you're running a route, and if you get the rub, that's fine, but you can't just block the defender. Timmy's talking about, was it before the ball was thrown or after, during, and that whole concept of, trying to, this is what we work on in practice.
That's a great point as well, Rich, because if he was blocking after the pass is thrown, it's all fine and good. But before the pass, that's where the penalty came. So I don't understand if it was a timeout call, because there's nothing to really challenge here. So maybe UH is just talking it over.
It's not a challengeable call.
The previous play is under further review.
Well, they are reviewing it. It is a scoring play.
There you go.
So
that's why
that
it becomes
gives
a
them
challenge.
the impetus to be able to take a look at certain angles of it, even if the penalty was called that would negate the touchdown, correct?
That's correct. I'm again curious. They are challenging every play because it was a score, but usually with the penalty that would negate the score. Therefore, you wouldn't have a challenge. So I'm interested to see what the replay officials are looking at here.
Kyle Galdera, our rules analyst, who was on the officiating crew for last night's Open Division State Championship game that was played here at this facility. It was a rockin' house. St. Louis defeating Kahuku in that one to return back to glory. Kyle?
So we have a little clarification here. The referees are looking to see if the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, because in that case, any sort of contact,
it's a lateral.
it would be basically negated. And to me, the initial pass looked forward, therefore it would be OPI. But let's see what the referees are looking at here.
After further review, the ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage. Therefore, there is no offensive pass interference. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Now, we learned that a little earlier in the season, that was one of the rules, something that came up and actually hurt Hawaii earlier this year, and now it actually gets ruled in the Rainbow Warriors' favor. And so just like that, Micah Alejado, making his first career start, takes Hawaii from its own 6-yard line. They go 94 yards for a score. And now Kansei Matsuzawa on for the point after.
And give Timmy Chang credit. He understood the concept's supposed to be behind the line of scrimmage. Therefore, that is legal. So good job of clarifying that with the officials.
And the kick is through the uprights, and it is good. What a splash here by the true Frosh, Micah Alejado. A lot of people have been anticipating and excited about his official starting debut. What a scoring drive for the Rainbow Warriors. They go 12 plays, cover 94 yards. It takes 5 minutes and 4 seconds off of the clock, and it ends in a Pofele Ashlock 3-yard TD reception from the true freshman starter, Micah Alejado. That looked pretty impressive, Rich.
Yeah, and it was kind of Old Testament, right? Those are true run-and-shoot concepts, and getting rid of the ball, understanding what defenses are going to give you, and even Timmy Chains in terms of anticipatory, what is the defense going to be in the red zone? Man coverage, this is the rub route, this will work.
Alejado was 6 for 8 for 67 yards, also had a 9-yard run on that drive, of course, capped with his touchdown pass. And so now it will be Ben Falk who is kicking it deep. Actually not kicking it deep, kicks it very short, and it'll be taken by one of the New Mexico State up men, and he'll be upended at the 41-yard line.
Now, they call that a mortar kick. You're supposed to catch the kick return team off, of surprise, but that didn't surprise anybody, and great field position for New Mexico. Let's see if he did this on purpose. Yeah, he certainly did.
Interesting. What do you think about the potential strategy behind that there, Rich?
Well, you kind of pregame, you see when you're studying tape, there's holes in certain places where you can actually mortar that ball and land it, but that was caught pretty cleanly.
Quarry Rogers, the running back, they sent him in motion. Now Dampier on the first play of this drive for New Mexico connects with Luke Wysong, the 5'10 redshirt senior. He is a New Mexico product out of Cleveland High School in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. 60 receptions on the year coming into this game, 771 yards and a touchdown, averaging just under 13 yards per catch. This is a run right up the middle. This is Rogers. And he'll be wrestled down. It was Jemai Otis who was first to him.
Yeah, another Bishop Gorman athlete doing a nice job in terms of watch 54, scrape, fill, and then that's textbook tackling in terms of rolling his hips, staying up high, and getting the ball carrier to the ground.
New Mexico dealing with a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. One of their running backs, Javen Jacobs, unavailable. Also their starting right tackle, Wallace Unamba, out for this game. This is Rogers rounding out to the far side, getting close to that first down marker. But they only dressed 62 players officially for tonight's ball game.
I'll tell you what,
Matangi Thompson giving chase there defensively for Hawaii.
still early in the first quarter, but offensive coordinator Nick Howell doing a nice job of changing up, doing a lot of perimeter runs, some inside handoff, and some quarterback keepers.
And they said that Rogers was out of bounds 3 yards shy of the first down marker, and then Devin Dampier going to work. Was the National Player of the Week, according to the Associated Press, back on November 18th. That was following the performance against Washington State when New Mexico in their last game at home took down nationally ranked Washington State. And Dampier went for a combined 367 yards and 4 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown run. As we return to live action, and this is Macquarie Rogers on the carry for New Mexico. We will see if we get a sample of Soljay Mayava Peters, who is also a member of this running back stable for the Lobos. We have a penalty flag.
Soljay from Kahuku went on a mission. Seems like he's been playing college football for 6 or 7 years.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 51 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. The down counts, second out.
Oh, that is the starting center, Malik Alian. He hails from Rouen, France. He is one of several international players on this New Mexico roster. He is getting the start at center because Mackenzie Agnello moved out to the right tackle position due to the absence of Wallace Unamba. So a little bit of shifting up front, but a costly penalty there for Alian. It's now 2nd and 20 here for the Lobos. Dampier steps up in the pocket, throws on the run, and it is incomplete. It was Peter Manuma who was in coverage back there. Nick Trujillo was the intended target.
A really good job by Peter, the safety, right, running down the seam, playing the hands and eyes. Good coverage by number 1, the Campbell graduate.
And we saw Peter having to head to the sideline, looked shaken up on the last New Mexico possession. Good to see him back out there. Seems to be okay. Obviously making the defensive play on that sequence. 3rd and long here for New Mexico. Dampier steps up, then throws. Looked like he was hinting towards a run. Decided instead to heave it over the top to Wysong, but not much there. Justin Sinclair making the defensive play for the Rainbow Warriors. So that brings up 4th down, and we'll see what they do.
Kind of the Tim Tebow jump pass, right? You pretend you're going to run up into the line of scrimmage. You jump up and hopefully hit that seam route.
So this is going to be a 42-yard attempt for Luke Drizwicki, experienced field goal kicker for New Mexico. 12 of 16 in field goals here this season. Career 73% in field goal kicking for the Lobos, and this one will be wide left. Actually scrapes the outer portion of the left upright, and so no harm done here on this drive for New Mexico. The Hawaii defense holds once again. They lead 7-0 with 4:47 left to play in quarter number 1. Don't miss a second of the action. Watch Spectrum Sports on the go. The Spectrum News app has the local sports you love and the news and weather that matter most to you. Download it today on your favorite device. Micah Alejado making his first career start because Braden Shaker was a scratch due to injury. And very impressive on the opening possession for Hawaii.
Yeah, that first throw, that whole shot. Look how quickly he gets rid of the ball. Right on the chin of the wide receiver. Good decision making on that rub route. Really a nice first series. A lot of confidence, a lot of swagger. Definitely having that it factor.
Yeah, there is something about him. There's a certain moxie that he seems to carry with him, despite the fact that he is, by college football standards, fairly diminutive in stature. But there's another connection to Jonah Panoke for another strong first down game.
And I think when you compete for national championships in terms of high school, and when you have ungodly numbers, that creates swagger, that creates it.
And this is Landon Sims. He is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. So that's going to bring up third down. Micah Alejado, who split time 2 weeks ago in Logan, Utah with John Keave Sangopolu-Tele. There seemingly was a bit of a battle between those two for who would be officially the QB2. But under these circumstances, this is the fourth game that Micah Alejado has participated in, which means that he can salvage his redshirt season. And so it just seemed like all signs presented themselves to be a perfect opportunity for Timmy Chang to make this decision. Alejado. Oh, that one goes through the hands of his intended target, and that brings up fourth and short. That was Nick Senecal, usually a little more sure-handed in those situations.
Got to catch that. Again, Micah doesn't throw that fastball with too much speed. You got to catch that football. Critical third down scenario. We've seen too many drops this whole season.
Hawaii at its own 34-yard line deciding to go ahead and punt this, or at least bring out the punt team. Lucas Boro, who is 12th in the FBS in punting average, 45.5 yards per punt, lays into it. And it is going to be fielded inside the 15, and it's going to go nowhere. Luke Wysong is rudely met back there on special teams. Jaheim Wilson-Jones making the play. So the Lobos will be backed up when their offense comes back out. Well, we got Rainbow Wahine basketball for you, and how about the opponent? The number one ranked team in the country, UCLA. Our coverage will begin on Spectrum Sports tomorrow at 2 p.m. That will basically be the finale of the Rainbow Wahine Showdown, and it will be a true championship game as Hawaii got a victory earlier today over UT Martin 47-39. So they and the Bruins 2-0 in that tournament. And speaking of championship games, the Rainbow Wahine volleyball team takes down Cal Poly in 4 sets to claim another Big West tournament championship, which means they receive an automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. They will learn their fate as to where exactly they are going to play and who they are going to play tomorrow. Eli Sanders there on the carry for New Mexico as their offense tries to get back to work down 7-0.
What a great weekend of sports. And Lillian Jovi and the Wahine basketball team, your alma mater, playing the number one team. But make no mistake about it, New Mexico is explosive on offense, and that was good for 18 yards.
Yeah, Eli Sanders, who entered the game with 942 rushing yards, so closing in on 1,000 yards for the season. Getting a good chunk there. Here's Dampier. How about the protection? Now throws down the sideline, and it is incomplete. Would have been a magnificent catch. Cam Stone was all over Luke Wysong there in coverage.
God, if you wanted to coach technique, if you wanted a clinic, you would just turn on the film, watch number 4 be in phase. And what does that mean? He's in control, and then he's pressing out. He's playing the hands and eyes. Notice how that right hand goes through to the football and spreads the arms. Cam Stone is a clinician.
So an empty backfield here. They send a man in motion, and it is Sanders who gets the rock, and he leaps forward to about the 38-yard line. Oh, they'll spot him actually a little further back, closer to the 36, 37. And so that's going to bring up third down here for New Mexico.
Sanders, a track guy in high school, and you can see that speed as he turns that 220 corner. Little hurdle jump, athletic, and averaging over 6 yards a carry.
So 3rd and 3. 24 rushing yards for Sanders. Dampier going to put his head down, and he charges through the seam. He'll get the first down and get close to the Hawaii, or to the New Mexico 44.
Quarterback power, what does that mean? That means the guard is pulling, the fullback is leading, you're changing the math, and that's what you do in crucial situations.
Devin Dampier, who has made it a habit to conjure up what is known as the double triple, has thrown for 100 yards and has run for 100 yards in 5 games this season. Sanders, no room to run. Great chase. Good job by the Hawaii defensive front stringing that one out.
A really nice job on defense. And if you don't think this offense is explosive, there were 3 consecutive games where the New Mexico had over 50 points. This offense has had over 500 yards 4 times. This is an explosive offense, and that's the reason why number 4, with the ball in his hands, is a dual threat, and he can throw it. You've seen some great throws. Even though the coverage was there, the ball was on point.
This is a New Mexico team that started the season 0-4 as well, and here they are, a win away from being bowl eligible as that pass is caught short of the first down marker by Luke Wysong. But they got the signature win. That was 2 weeks ago against 18th ranked Washington State, 38-35. First win over a ranked opponent since 2003 when they beat Utah. And the fans stormed the field over there at University Stadium. Sanders gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, but is able to get forward progress. Where are they going to spot this, though? It looks like it might be shy of the line to gain. Elijah Palmer was the Rainbow Warrior who put the finishing touches on that one.
And again, you mentioned 0-4 start. Bronco Mendenhall being a first-year coach. 8 of his 10 staff members he's coached those guys. So this is a loyal staff. They know what he wants, and they've developed, and they've gotten better and better as the season progressed.
And they're going for it here on 4th and short. Dampier puts his head down. This is going to be awfully close. It's going to depend on the spot.
This guy on the side, Judge, looks like it's a first down, but the near side, Judge, I think has it short. Right foot, left foot.
It's really almost right eye, left eye. If you close one side, you might see this a little bit differently.
Nice job knocking the pile back. Elijah Robinson, you see Tariq Jones, you see linebackers, you see the front, the tackles.
Hawaii, which was leading the league in scoring defense until that Utah State game where the Aggies scored 55 points. Still, the Rainbow Warriors much better defensively at home in scoring defense, allowing just 18 points per game in 6 home games compared to 35 a game in 5 road games.
Dennis Thurman said the dam broke 2 weeks ago, against Utah State. They never tackled anybody, missing tackles everywhere. That was not the Hawaii defense we've known consistently through this season.
Yeah, Utah State put together 321 rushing yards. The dam most certainly did break. And upon the measurement, it is shy, and Hawaii takes over on downs.
Timmy Chang showing his excitement.
Will the clock operator please reset the game clock to 20 seconds? 2-0.
Bronco Mendenhall saying, I've got 2 eyes. It looked like it was...
The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, they're going to look at this spot, I would imagine, here. You mentioned Dennis Thurman, who told us the dam broke against Utah State, says doesn't matter how much you think you're ready, you have to know you're ready. They got off the field on the first drive, and he was saying that he felt like his guys, that defensive unit for Hawaii, kind of thought it would be easy the rest of the day, and then all of a sudden the ball started flying over their head all night.
See all that window dressing, then you see the quarterback, but watch Peter Manuma come in late and push that pile back. These are tough to overturn.
All right, let's bring in our rules analyst, Kyle Galdera. This seems pretty straightforward as far as what they're looking at, but give us a sense of the process here.
Yeah, so Kanoa, every play in this situation is automatically reviewed, whether it's a turnover in this situation, a turnover on downs. And it does seem like he was stopped short. And the important thing for Hawaii
After further
here,
review, the runner made it to the 46-yard line with the result of a first down.
Wow.
and I was just about to say the important thing was the call on the field was short. So he must have seen something, I think, from our view here that we just saw on the replay. I think the runner did get the ball past the line.
It was right foot, left foot, and what I mean by that, as the side judges came in, one was definitely past the marker, one was definitely short, and I don't know how you determine when that happens where the ball actually gets placed.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's an exact science in those particular circumstances, but I kind of agree with you, Rich, on the replay angles that we had. It looked like that initial forward progress may have been enough, but it was awfully close, and we're going to have a penalty flag here. Sebo Brown was waving the finger upon what was an incompletion, but I think they're going to get him for the penalty.
Yeah, and it was tight coverage, and he did a nice job driving to the upfield shoulder, but he grabbed the jersey.
Pass interference, number 13 defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's how quickly things can change, right? A drive that looked like Hawaii had stopped New Mexico. Offense was out on the field. Now all of a sudden it was ruled a first down. You have a penalty, and New Mexico has the football in Hawaii territory.
Yeah, the hand was kind of on the hip. It looked like he tried to grab the jersey. It didn't look egregious. I'm not sure I would have called that, but I'm pro defensive back.
Yeah, you always are. You're not apologetic about it either.
The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul.
So 2 penalties for each side here so far in this one. Hawaii has been penalized to the tune of 69.7 yards per game this season. There's going to be a keeper here by Dampier, being chased on the edge by Tariq Jones, but he's able to get to the sideline. He's going to be about a yard shy of the first down marker. First quarter coming to a close. The Lobos on the move. It is the season finale for the Rainbow Warriors, trying to play the spoiler on senior night. Welcome back. Well, one of the royal families, if you will, of University of Hawaii football, the Kafensis family, being honored on the field here during that last timeout. And, of course, with the memory of the late Kent Kafensis, who was one of 8 Kafensis family members, including 5 brothers, who suited up for the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, they were obviously the Nogas, the Satellis, but this family, in terms of the 80s, the 90s, early 20th century University of Hawaii football, all defensive backs, all good players. A few of them played in the National Football League. But what they meant to this program and how proud they were to represent Hawaii, it's so wonderful. And Kent, who passed away from cancer, what a wonderful human he was, a great player, a great person, and loved that family so much.
Yeah, passed away in May at the age of 61 after a lengthy battle with cancer. It's great to see the Kafensis Ohana here in the house as New Mexico on second down here to get the second quarter started runs for the first down. Kent was a safety, was an all-WAC selection in 1985. Of all of the Kafensis family members, he was singled out as maybe being the most competitive of them all. Would you second that sentiment?
Yeah, hardest worker, most competitive, played in the National Football League, but just everything he did was to become a great football player and represent that family in the state of Hawaii.
This is Rogers. And he gets forward for some positive yards. I tell this story all the time, too. My father was calling all of those games over those years, and I remember being a young kid, and I used to think because the Kafensis name was so ubiquitous, the fact that my dad would say it all the time, I thought it was the name of a formation on the defensive side.
Yeah, and you know, it was interesting, obviously me playing safety and being Haole, Caucasian, whatever you want to call me, people thought I was a Kafensis. There was only one Miano, and there was like 10 Kafensises.
You're a Hanai Kafensis. As that pass is complete to Luke Wysong. And a first and goal situation here for the Lobos after that 12-yard gain. So first and goal from the 8. You see 2 in the backfield. The give is to Rogers. And he's going to be wrapped up, but he does get inside the 5-yard line. So a good response here. Remember, it was the reversal of the first down call that gave the Lobos new life here on this drive, and then a defensive pass interference penalty really helped them gear up some momentum, and now they're knocking on the door.
Yeah, and I still think Hawaii's playing well on defense, but obviously holding them to a field goal would be huge here because This is an explosive offense with an explosive quarterback.
And this is going to be Dampier calling his own number, and he is in for 6 for his 17th rushing touchdown of the season.
Debonair, this guy is smart. This guy is the ultimate dual threat. Like I said earlier, best dual threat quarterback in the Mountain West Conference. See the vision, you see the speed, lets it develop, and he's been in the end zone quite often this season.
And so this is interesting. New Mexico lining up, and they're going to be going for 2 here. And it's going to be a dive there for the goal line. James Lobstein, the listed reserve quarterback, 6'4", 205-pound junior, they're going to say was short.
Yeah, and great special teams play by Thomas Sheffield's unit. Really nice job defending the muddle huddle.
Well, Hawaii still up by a point after the failed 2-point conversion. Well, we saw Hawaii put together a 12-play, 94-yard scoring drive. The Lobos coming back with a 14-play, 88-yard scoring drive that ended with a Devin Dampier 3-yard touchdown run. It took 5 minutes and 24 seconds off of the clock. On that drive, Dampier was 6 for 9 for 56 yards, had 6 rushes for 43 yards.
Not a whole bunch of explosive plays. It was kind of a grinded out type of thing. I thought Hawaii did well in terms of responsibility, especially on that quarterback, because he can break long ones. He's broken long ones all season.
So Drizwicki kicking off here for the Lobos. And it'll be fair caught back there. It looked like Cam Stone back in the kick return position here for Hawaii. It's been a minute since we've seen him back there.
Yeah, last year a little bit of punt returning, a lot of kick returning, but he hasn't been back there this year. But it's good because he's auditioning to play on Sunday. And if he can show he can play special teams, especially as a return guy, it's added value.
Thoughts on the decision by New Mexico to go for 2 there after that touchdown score?
It's all based upon a look, right? So you line up in this formation and you hope that the opponent is outnumbered in certain areas so you can obviously get out of that and kick the point, but they decided to go for it. But Hawaii did a nice job defensively.
Unfortunately, the initial jump there by Pofele Ashlock.
Number 5 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
This is something we've seen, right? Playing behind the chains. Micah Alejado really doing a nice job. The only time they've stopped him was when a wide receiver drops the football. You cannot play consistently behind the chains.
And there is Ashlock saying, "That's on me."
My bad.
Redshirt sophomore from Euless, Texas. Had such a phenomenal freshman All-American campaign a season ago. Was red hot through the first half of this season.
Wow.
As that was a nice strike to Nick Senecal. That was on a frozen rope. Nigel Williams making the stop. Getting back to Pofele Ashlock, though, we've seen things a little bit more pedestrian for him in terms of his statistics in recent weeks.
Yeah, there's definitely been a regression, but that particular throw right here out of the trips, you're going to see the corner route. Jonah's going to clear out. You're going to see the flat route, but watch this throw in terms of great ball position.
Hawaii trying to run a little tempo here. That pass intended for Ashlock on the near side, off the mark.
Yeah, and again, going back to that outside vertical threat, if Micah can complete balls down the field, we know what he can do in the quick game. We know what he can do on the perimeter. You'll eventually use him in some quarterback run in some crucial situations, but he's making some beautiful throws.
He is over 100 yards passing already, 8 for 12, including a touchdown. So 2nd and 10 here for Hawaii, just on their side of midfield. He's going to gear up. He's going to throw to a wide open Dekel Crowdis, and he is in to the land of 6. 52 yards. Alijado with touchdown pass number 2 in the game.
Switch release, seam route. Micah just sits back there, reads the defense, and makes the right decision. You're going to see, watch the throw. Perfectly right on Dekel's face mask, What a throw, what a concept, switch release. Micah got a little swagger going.
Yeah, Micah got a little 155 yards on 9 of 13 passing going. And now Kansei Matsuzawa, after the explosive play strike here for Hawaii for the point after. And it is good. Matsuzawa still perfect in PATs this season. Look at this, Rich.
The celebration, there's the catch. But to me, it's all about the celebration on senior night.
Swagger indeed. Well, what a response for this Hawaii offense. They go 75 yards on 3 plays, just 40 seconds time. Dakel Crowdis on the receiving end of the 52-yard touchdown reception from Micah Alejado. Remember, it was Crowdis on the receiving end of the 44-yard touchdown toss by Alejado in cleanup duty on that lopsided road trip defeat against Utah State a couple of weeks ago. Dakel Crowdis has presented himself as one of those big play guys, but it has been Alijado who has been able to kind of exploit that here the last couple of games.
After the try, there was an unsportsmanlike conduct on number 55 of the defense. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Oh, so they're putting the ball at the 50-yard line here.
This type of scenario sets up for an onside kick because you have better field position, or a possible mortar kick that we've seen. Not sure, Luke, that this will be kicked in the end zone by Ben Falk. But going back to Micah Alejado, I mean, that is what you see in terms of outside vertical stretch, run and shoot concepts. June Jones, Miles Davis, that is old school run and shoot.
And it's going to be a squibber, and look, takes an awkward bounce. Finally fielded at about the 15-yard line. D'Angelo Mays doing a good job of just securing that one. That was looking a little funky for a while there.
Yeah, and Thomas Sheffield, right? That's the right thing to do in that scenario. And we watched Lucas Burrow earlier kick a 52-yard punt. And again, he's been one of my MVPs based upon he can do the Scott Harding, he can do the Alex Dunaki, Matt McBride type deep kick. So he's been a pleasant surprise as a punter, and this special teams is being special this evening.
You see the total game numbers for Devin Dampier. 6 of 9 passing, fakes the handoff here, steps up in the pocket, hit as he throws, and it's a little tall for his intended target. He was looking at Ryan Davis, who has 49 receptions, 684 yards, and 3 touchdowns coming into this game.
That ball was high. You're right about the trajectory, but Dampier is showing athleticism because he stepped up. He, under duress, he still throws a really nice ball, a tight spiral. He is a true dual threat, not just a runner.
Yeah, throwing off of the opposite foot, still putting some sauce on it. This guy is a talent. Second down here. Dampier, that one kind of spiked on him a little bit.
Just as we talked about his ability to throw the football, that one was a little bit low.
But this is a New Mexico State offense that not only obviously is explosive, but they've done a good job in protecting Dampier, at least within the context of this scheme. They're second in the FBS in sacks allowed, averaging under half a sack per game. Now, some of that is because of the scheme, because of what they run, and the fact that Dampier gets the ball out so quickly, but that's still impressive.
Oh, good point. There were 7 games where there was 0 sacks, but you're right, some of it is conceptual.
3rd and 10. Dampier surveying downfield. On the run out of the pocket, he's going to try to reverse field. We have a penalty flag out. Dampier now lets it fly, and look at the cannon on that. Falls incomplete, and we'll see what happens here with the flag.
Normally a hold, right, thrown in the secondary. I'm tired just watching that play.
Let's listen in here to the call.
Holding, number 7 of the defense. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Mickey Pay, you know, sometimes guys give you double moves. Obviously in the scramble situation, you want to plaster the receiver, but you can't grab his jersey.
And so that'll help New Mexico in a big way there as Devin Dampier and the Lobos now looking at a first down from their own 27-yard line.
Great protection, though. He had all the time in the world. And some of that he creates with his athleticism.
He can buy some time, that's for sure. This is Rogers on the give, and he'll get forward for about 3.5. Dampier We mentioned the total yards this season coming into this game, over 3,650 on the year. Cole McDonald, former University of Hawaii quarterback, his 4,234 total yards in 2018 is the Mountain West record for a sophomore QB. So Dampier chasing that. If they get a bowl opportunity, that's something that could be within reach. As Rogers able to get out of trouble, and he has some room to run, first down and much more across midfield, and finally punched out of bounds. But a big gainer there for Nakari Rogers.
You're going to see, again, a little inside zone, right? And then it cuts all the way back across the field. Nice job of vision, patience, and letting that play develop and making something out of nothing.
25 yards there for Rogers. And they're going to give it right back to him. No rest for the weary as he maneuvers forward for about 3.5.
Bunch of black jerseys. I think Malu Emerson. Becky Pay. And Emerson coming off a game where he had 14 tackles. It didn't seem like anybody showed up in Utah State, but Nalo Emerson showed up 2 weeks ago.
14 tackles, which was a career high for him, and also the most recorded by a Hawaii player this season in a game.
Timeout for injury, number 25 of the defense.
Well, so they're taking a look here at Matangi Thompson, who is down on the field, and yeah, it looks like they're trying to stretch him out a bit, maybe dealing with some cramps. This was a bit of a hotter day than what we've seen in recent weeks, right? We had some weather systems coming through a few weeks ago. Things kind of cooled off a little bit. I don't want to try to pretend like I'm a meteorologist or something. Maybe it was like a cold front or something, you know, upper level low, those kinds of terminologies. But today was a bit of a hotter day. Could it be a little bit more humid here for this season finale than what we've seen in recent weeks?
Yeah, I always thought you'd be the lead man on the newscast, but I'm not so sure you could be a great meteorologist. But including that, some big surf on the North Shore.
Oh, there you go. Hey, thanks a lot there, guy. Thompson making his way to the Hawaii sideline. 10:28 left to play here in the second quarter.
Wonderful weather during this Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, it's been beautiful. It's been absolutely
best
gorgeous.
in the world.
And I guess we can, on a belated note, we can wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving weekend here, and hope that you survived Black Friday if you braved the malls yesterday. 2nd and 6 here for the Lobos. See the total offensive numbers, pretty even so far for both these teams. This is going to be Sanders running off the far side, trying to veer back towards the middle of the field. That's another Lobos first down.
Kilanai, Mendiola, Jensen on the tackle, but sweet feet, quick feet, good vision. Kind of reminds me of Marco Johnson, the former Rainbow Warrior running back number 33.
Well, always good to have a running back with the last name Sanders. I just feel like that bodes well.
Good point.
That was the 12th first down here for New Mexico. Look at that move by Dampier. And he bounces off of a would-be tackle. And he gets all the way to the 25-yard line, deeper into Hawaii territory.
You're right about that. What a move in the open field. You're going to get to see it. Watch this now. It looks like everything's... Nope. Watch this. Ooh, Justin Sinclair, who's been pretty consistent tackling. That's not going to be on his highlight film.
And then bounces off of the hit by Cam Stone. And Sanders doesn't get much there on the carry on first down.
Yeah, and one tandem I don't think we've talked enough about is Elijah Robinson and Tariq Jones.
Illegal substitution, 12 players on defense. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So penalties hurting the cause here for Hawaii in this second quarter.
Going back to those defensive ends, right? Jordan Pulu Robinson, the young coach who's coaching the defensive ends. This has been maybe the best tandem I can remember in at least a decade or so in terms of tackles for losses, sacks, tackles, and just responsibility in terms of canceling gaps.
And this one will be blown dead, and we're going to have, looks like, premature movement on the Lobos side of the ball.
Ball start, 66 offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And that's Mackenzie Agnello. Remember, he is starting at right tackle here this evening, the usual starter at center.
That's a big offensive line. They go like 330, 315, 300 across the board. Good height, good girth.
Yeah, a offensive line that is coached by Micah Anai, who is the son of Robert Anai, former BYU associate head coach, OC, is the Virginia offensive coordinator under Bronco Mendenhall. And Robert currently at NC State, but Famika, who coached the offensive line at Campbell University and Texas A&M Commerce previously before heading back over to coach alongside Bronco.
Famous Anai family. Good coverage by Matangi Thompson. Your safety, right? He's tall, he's lean, and he had really good coverage on the slot receiver. That's not easy for safeties to do when they're stuck in man coverage.
So 2nd and 15 here for the Lobos. They empty the backfield. Dampier, like he was trying to improvise a little bit there. Nothing doing. That's going to bring up 3rd down.
A really heads-up play, right? Cerebral. If people are covered, you don't have anybody throw it out of bounds. Don't take the sack.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. Passer was outside the pocket and made it beyond the neutral zone.
So that brings up 3rd and 15. New Mexico 2 for 5 on 3rd down so far in this game. Dampier's going to dump it down. And that's not going to get enough as Sanders is pushed out of bounds. So that's going to bring up 4th down and a likely field goal try here for Luke Drizwicki.
Again, all the routes were covered downfield. Checks it down. Really nice job. And Abu Malafala mentioned Cam Stone has only missed 1 tackle all season long. That guy's can tackle, he can cover, he can do it all.
Drizwicki has already missed from 42 yards. This is a 36-yard attempt from the right hash. And this one is good. Absolutely puts a pop into it. And that gives 3 more here to New Mexico, making it a 14-9 contest. 8:29 left to play in this opening half. Let's go inside the numbers presented by Long's Drugs. And the number is 5. Top spots on the Mountain West active career list held by Braden Shager. Passing yards, total offense, completions, attempts, and TDs responsible for. And remember, Micah Alejado getting the start tonight because Braden Shager, a no-go due to the injury that he suffered against Utah State a couple of weeks ago. There was some hope that he would be able to make his way back to availability, but that ends a consecutive streak of 33 straight starts for this guy, who will be one of the seniors honored at the end of the game. And he has put together cumulatively a really, really strong Hawaii career.
Yeah, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the fact that not only is he leading a lot of categories, he's been one of those guys, you know, he didn't have the win-loss record of maybe a Nick Rolovich, Timmy Chang, Colt Brennan, but at the same time, the toughness, the resiliency, and he's just been a great leader for this program, and we're going to miss him.
Cam Stone again there in kick return, making the catch there along the goal line. So touchback here for Hawaii, and the offense coming back out onto the field.
You know that saying about quarterback, they talk about reliability, also availability. Sure. And Braden's been very available. And again, 3 years now, 2 different head coaches, bunch of different coordinators, and Braden Shager will be missed.
But so far, an impressive showing yet again.
Unbelievable.
In the second sort of extended view that we've seen of Micah Alejado. The first being that reserve appearance in Logan, Utah. Nobody in the backfield with him. And just a simple toss and catch there as he completes it to Cam Barfield.
Quick game, right? And that's the run and shoot outside running game. You either have that hitch, the bubble, the 5-yard out, the speed out is what they call it.
Alejado listed at 5'10". Throw to the near side. That's caught by Senecal. That should be enough for another Hawaii first down.
And you saw that time, right? Micah's going through his reads. He's pumping the ball. He's waiting for things to develop. He's calm, cool, and he's been collective.
And so you start thinking, perhaps, by virtue of the way this young guy has played, whether or not it would have been beneficial for Timmy Chang to maybe carve out a little bit more of a role for this guy throughout the season. Maybe put a package together for him, and Barfield able to redirect himself forward for about 6.
And I think initially we talked to Timmy about that right in our coaches meeting. They didn't want to burn his red shirt necessarily. They knew they had a guy coming back that 3 out of the 4 last games last season was very good in what he did. But watch the little guy block. You got to appreciate that. I don't know if that's called a block, but it's positioning.
Maybe kind of like an air quote block. But he got in the way, and now he's heaving it deep, and it is incomplete.
Again, but a good throw down the seam to Jonah Panoke. You got to throw it up top, right? And that will open up the defense underneath. So Micah with the deep ball. I think we can honestly say nobody can throw the ball as far as maybe a Braden Shaker. Doesn't have the strong arm, but at the same time, he's got a little pop to it, a little spin to it.
Oh, and then the timing factor
is huge in the decision making.
And again, this is a New Mexico defense that has been very susceptible to giving up yardage and points all season long. So that's something that has to be considered, but I don't think that takes away in any fashion just how impressive Micah Alejado has looked, because he also did it against Utah State, albeit in reserve fashion a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and that was a great throw too, right? That's just the stop route, a stick route. And again, defender was playing good defense, but Micah put that ball where it has to be and got it out quickly.
He's now 12 of 17 for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Completes it again to Alex Perry.
No interceptions. That's very important in any offense.
We had a penalty flag that was tossed out there near the line of scrimmage. May have come after the fact.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 70 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. The down counts, second down.
That's James Milovale.
That is number 70's first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game.
6'6", 330-pound junior who's played awfully well throughout the season. So well, Timmy Chang saying, you know, this is a guy who we gave an opportunity to, and it's just hard to get him off the field. Even when Luke Felix Fualalo, who was considered one of the staples at either the guard or tackle position, Milovale was playing so well, they had to figure out exactly where to put Felix Fualalo. As it turns out, Milovale sliding over to the left guard position opened things up for Felix Fualalo to move back to the right tackle spot.
Derek Favre, position versatility, right? If you can play tackle and guard, he's more of a natural guard in terms of size. But again, he was out there tackle, played pretty well.
This one also blown dead.
I think it's a timeout, Hawaii.
Prior delay, Hawaii called timeout. This is Hawaii's first timeout of the half.
All right, so they'll have 2 left.
30-second timeout.
Avoiding a delay of game penalty there. So the usage of the timeout with 6:07 left to play in this second quarter.
Yeah, 2 things have stopped.
Correction, it will be a full timeout.
Micah Alejado. One is the drop ball by Nick Senecal, and now it's penalties, playing behind the chains, right? So this is what we've seen consistently throughout earlier this season. And a good point is when you get rid of the ball quickly, you're not having the sacks, and that's play calling as well.
208 total yards for Hawaii, 173 of those coming through the air. Hawaii averaging 9 yards per play here so far.
That's big time.
And there's a look at Dan Morrison, the legend himself. You heard the pregame crew talking about how he is referred to as just smooth. And of course, one of the main reasons that Dennis Thurman, who was his old quarterback, Dennis Thurman played for Dan Morrison, was a guy who witnessed Dan Morrison as a player himself over at Santa Monica High School back in the day. And he said he was a huge reason why he came to Hawaii was because of Dan Morrison, who is as cool as anybody comes.
And, you know, first quarterback, Dennis Thurman, last quarterback, Braden Shaker. But he said they're like brothers, and nobody's cooler than Dan Morrison.
Alejado, he's looked pretty cool so far. He's going to decide to just get a few positive yards as Hawaii was backed up big time following that last penalty. And Alejado A little chippiness there on the New Mexico sideline. He'll make his way back to the Hawaii line of scrimmage, but 3rd and long here coming up.
Kind of been unscathed, right? Hasn't been really pressured, hasn't been really hit, hasn't been tackled. And some of that is play calling, but it's also the ability to get out of trouble and release the ball quickly. Again, we talked about Nick Rolovich, 2.3 seconds, get the ball out. Haven't seen much RPO action, but we've seen a lot of quick throws.
Talking about Dan Morrison, he has said that he is going to be retiring upon the end of this season. Here's Alijado moving the pocket, now scrambling. First time we've really seen him have to do this and then throws it away. And that's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, but another good decision. Don't take the sack. Don't change the field position. Nobody's open. Throw it out of bounds.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. The passer was outside the pocket, and the pass made it to the line of scrimmage. 4th down.
And so Lucas Boro now coming on to punt here for Hawaii.
Going back to Dan Morrison, though, Dennis said the guy doesn't get mad. He's chill, he's cool, he's patient. And again, Dan Morrison is a quarterback whisperer.
Boro getting it off. It is going to bounce at the 24 and then make a turn out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. So New Mexico will get started offensively there here on this upcoming drive.
Yeah, talking about quarterback whispers, right? When you talk about Vince Passes, Nalu Tungavailoa, Kaylee Tilton, guys like Joel Lane, Dan Morrison's really worked with all of those guys. And these quarterbacks work with different coaches, but Dan has had a hand in, Timmy Chang, Nick Rolovich. I mean, so many great quarterbacks in Hawaii history. He's coached 52 years.
Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
He doesn't look that old. He's so cool that you think he's in his 60s and not his 70s. Hope his wife Karen is watching.
Dampier letting it fly. Had a man open down the seam, but he overthrows Luke Weissong.
Love that concept, though. You catch the ball as a quarterback. You kind of run like you're going to run inside zone. You step back and throw over the head of the safety. Watch this, how he comes up, comes back, and then launches, and he has a strong arm, a cannon.
2nd and 10, though.
Luke Weissong, wish you were a little bit quicker on that.
Luke Weissong's been a good one here for New Mexico over his career. Has been hurt by injury a few times along the way, though. Dampier with the ankle tackle, going to get about 6 yards. It looked like Jalen Smith was the one who stepped up defensively for Hawaii.
Smith from that Lions den, right? And there's 4 or 5 of those guys that have been almost the most consistent position group on defense, although tough to argue with those corners. Sebo, Cam Stone, the defensive ends have been pretty consistent.
Yeah, this is a Hawaii defense that
before last week.
Yeah, they went through
2 weeks ago.
maybe a little bit of emotional turmoil here over the last couple of weeks. They had a lot of time to think about that performance against Utah State through the bye. Dampier up the middle. He's going to throw at the last moment. It will be ruled a forward pass.
Talk about triple option. I'm not sure that was an option. No, he just made it up.
Now, where was he in relation to the line of scrimmage is another question there on that play.
Talk about ripping the ball. That was not the proper way you teach it.
And the officials appear to be discussing that last play because he certainly was at the very least close to the line of scrimmage. You have to be completely past it for there to be an illegal forward pass.
There is no foul for an illegal pass. Part of the runner's body is still in the neutral zone. Therefore, it is 4th down.
See, again, the entire body has to be past the line of scrimmage. They ruled that Dampier was not fully past it.
George Gussman, Kyle Galdera, Matt Sumstein, the officials in this town, the fact that you know the rules, so impressive.
Hey, we got one. We got one here today. 4th down, and the Lobos will look to punt. Here is Aaron Rodriguez. Career punting average of 43.4. Puts him in the top 5 in New Mexico Lobo history. Penalty flag is out. This is taken by Nick Senecal. Puts on a nice couple of moves and he's going to bring it back across midfield. Senecal finally iced out of bounds in New Mexico territory.
Flag is down, but that was a heck of a return by Nick Senecal. North of the border.
33-yard return, penalty pending.
Watch this move right there. Ooh, another move. Ooh. Quick feet, good vision. Get to the sidelines, try to stay healthy.
Penalty flag was thrown all the way back at the New Mexico 23.
Illegal formation on the kicking team, more than 4 in the backfield. That penalty of 5 yards will be added to the subsequent spot. It will be wise ball, first down.
If there's more than 4 in the backfield, that means there's not 7 on the line of scrimmage, illegal formation.
And so some really, really good field position to start this drive for Hawaii with 4:08 left before the intermission. They put the ball at the New Mexico 40.
Hawaii up by 5. Obviously, field goal would put them up by 8, but it would be nice to get in the end zone. Plenty of time in the 4-minute drill.
Alijado sets the feet, and that is incomplete.
Yeah, but good ball placement, right? And then look how far that ball was thrown. Even though it wasn't vertically thrown, that's a tough college football throw, and Micah put the ball on the money.
The intended target was Tamatoa Mokiao Atimalala.
Another senior.
So 2nd and 10. You see the numbers for Alijado.
Pretty impressive.
Not too bad.
Couple of drops.
Yeah, you know, for a true freshman. And now escapes trouble and gets out of bounds before he has to absorb any kind of damage. And so he has been able to get out of some of those situations unscathed thus far, but that brings up a 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and I think the comparison is to Noah Fafita, the Arizona signal caller. Similar size. I think Noah has a little bit more spin on his ball, right? Maybe a little bit of quickness, but this is a young freshman. As he gets in the weight room, develops more core strength, the ball will pop a little bit more. He'll get a little bit more twitch. And what we're seeing, though, is decision-making and accuracy, and that's important.
I like that comp. I think that's a solid comp here. Hawaii 2 for 5 on 3rd down. Alijado will throw. It is caught. Pofele Ashlock, little tip drill with himself, is able to haul it in.
Micah does not get frustrated in the pocket. He does not get anxious. He's kind of watch. He'll be on his tiptoes, and then he delivers another strike. A little bit high. Great catch by Pofele Ashlock.
23 yards on the connection, and another red zone visit here for Hawaii.
Wow, what a throw. Good job by the offensive line. Sometimes we don't talk enough about when there is protection because we've seen so many sacks this season. But again, play calling, quarterback play.
Hawaii 1 for 1 in the red zone so far in this game. Alijado looking to the end zone, and that's incomplete. Was looking in the direction of Nick Senecal.
Not poorly thrown, right? If you beat the defender, do you flatten that route off or do you go back to the corner? So again, pretty spot on throw by Micah.
Alijado, this was his reaction after. I think he felt like he could have put that on him.
Yeah, and he could have. It could have been a better throw. There's no question.
So 2nd and 10. Throw to the near side, and that's broken up. Good defensive play there made by Cam Watts, the 5'10", 190-pound redshirt senior who spent the previous 4 years at Texas Tech.
Alex Perry, right? You got that big, tall receiver, ball well thrown, but better coverage.
Still a catchable ball there for Alex Perry. Would have been a pretty strong catch, but catchable nonetheless.
Pro Football Focus will put that down as a drop.
2 tackles for Cam Watts. Now 3rd and 10 here for Hawaii. Well, certainly in field goal range for Kansei Matsuzawa, but you'd imagine Timmy Chang and the fellas want more than just 3 here. Alijado has a man open. It is Tamatoa Mokiao Atimalala who heads to the Hale, and Hawaii gets a 3rd TD, 16 yards.
Tamatoa Mokiao Ati Malala with that, again, that pick, trips, rub route. Really nice job. Not good coverage in the back end by New Mexico. Good ball placement. Touchdown.
And so Hawaii now 2 for 2 in the red zone. And how about 3 touchdown passes in his first career start for the true freshman Micah Alejado?
In the first half. Impressive.
Still 2:29 left to play here before the intermission. Kansei Matsuzawa continues to be perfect in PATs on the season. He's now 30 for 30. But now you're starting to think about this young freshman and the possibilities of what could be ahead for this program if they continue to exploit the fact that he is a Rainbow Warrior.
A little bit reminiscent, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Timmy Chang had the same scenario, right, where he played his freshman year, didn't count as a year, and got that 17,000 yards passing. Micah wouldn't even be counted this year and still be able to play 4 more years after this. You could set records, especially if you stay on this type of pace.
This offense looks different here in the season finale than what we have seen for a vast majority of this season, Rich.
100%, and you see Braden Shager mentoring him, and that quarterback room, they all get along, very competitive at the same time, but got to be proud of the young signal caller.
Really cool to see Braden Shager coming over and giving the true freshman his flowers there after another impressive drive. Remember, there was some talk about Timmy Chang and this coaching staff petitioning the NCAA to try to see if they could get another year of eligibility for Braden Shager. Of course, in this day and age, you never know. You can find years of eligibility somewhere loose in your couch.
Yeah, I hate to talk about what year people are in. Is it COVID? Is it gray shirt? Is it blue shirt?
Ensuing kickoff is fair caught there by D'Angelo Mays. And so the New Mexico offense playing from behind here, still with 2 minutes, 29 seconds to try to make something happen before halftime. Lots to cheer about. It's been a great day for Manoa sports. We mentioned the Rainbow Wahine volleyball team winning the Big West Conference Tournament Championship with a 4-set victory over Cal Poly. That match was held in Irvine. And then Rainbow Wahine basketball getting a win earlier today as well, which sets up a true championship tomorrow in the Rainbow Wahine showdown against the top-ranked team in the country, UCLA. UH football trying to also add one to the victory column. Still a lot of football left to be played here at Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex as Ryan Davis makes the grab for the Lobos. 16-yard gain there on the pass from Devin Dampier.
And if Hawaii can pull this victory off tonight, I know one guy who's smiling in his last weekend at work is Craig Angeles, the outgoing athletic director.
And here is Eli Sanders. And it'll take 3 Rainbow Warriors to bring him down, about a yard shy of the line to gain. Cam Stone was in on that defensive play, and that gets us to the 2-minute timeout. So $1:55 left to play in half number 1. The True Frosh leading Hawaii to a 21-9 advantage.
How's it going, everybody? 21-9 in the second quarter. Rob DeMello, Abu Ma'afala, Kavika Hallams. We have lots to talk about at halftime, but still about a minute and change left. Let's go to Kanoa Leahy and Rich Miano to finish this first half out.
All right, thanks a lot, Robbie. Yeah, looking forward to what those guys have to discuss at halftime. I'd imagine they will be talking about the play of the youngin, Micah Alejado, who is looking as poised as ever in his first career start. And it has been impressive for sure. Meanwhile, a much more established QB entity in the Mountain West, Devin Dampier, here for New Mexico. He's 8 of 17 for 77 yards passing. He has rushed for 52 yards and the lone Lobos touchdown, but they trail 21-9. And so far, it has been the freshman Alejado who has won that battle at the QB spot. Eli Sanders on the carry here for New Mexico, and that's enough to get a first down. So they will move the chains here, and still plenty of time for the Lobos to try to do something before halftime.
Defense needs to close out this half, right? Do not even allow a field goal. Get off the field.
And that is a completion out to Ryan Davis in his second year with New Mexico. His first college TD was a 3-yard catch versus Hawaii last year in Albuquerque.
2-minute drill, 3 timeouts left. Plenty of time.
Gain of 10, so another first down play. Ball at the Hawaii 34. Backfield is empty. Dampier going to throw down the sideline, and again overthrowing Luke Weissong. We've seen that a few times.
Weissong, the intended receiver.
Quarters coverage. Matangi Thompson, the safety, in good position. Take a great throw to be good coverage. A little bit overthrown. Matangi Thompson, good coverage.
We are getting word from UH officials that Nalu Emerson is out due to an upper body injury. So that is not welcomed news for the UH defense, especially Nalu Emerson, coming off of his career best 14 tackle performance a couple of weeks ago in Logan, Utah. Dampier up the gut. And he's able to get forward. Ball pops out. Did Hawaii recover? It looks like Jalen Smith has it. Has not received the official ruling or
It's out. He's got it.
the call. He does come out of the pile with it. The officials still discussing the matter. We have not seen.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Hawaii.
And there it is. That makes it Hawaii football.
Or inside zone type of play, and you're going to see ball popped out.
That looked like Lester Langafuaina caught up with the play and made the punch.
Lester's biggest play as a rainbow defender, and then it was recovered by a guy in that Lions den, Jalen Smith. Really nice punch. Kind of the Peanut Tillman punch. Ball was out.
It looks like in that replay, the ball was definitely out before the knee touched.
Lester left 3 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, a forced fumble, and a freshman with athleticism.
So now Hawaii with an opportunity to try to add to its advantage before halftime. That is a completion on the out to Pofele Ashlock. Lester Langafuaina, he is a guy who I think a lot of the coaches for Hawaii will be on feverishly in the offseason because that transfer portal looms large. You have a National Signing Day next week. After that, the portal opens up for a month. It will open up again in the springtime, and that is a guy you would imagine there will be some poachers that will be circling the program for.
Athleticism, 6'3", 6'4", 40-inch vertical jump, can run.
Another good throw. This is Senecal. And he is run over out of bounds. He had some moans and groans on that side of the stadium, thinking that maybe that little extra at the end of the play was unnecessary. Nigel Williams there defensively for the Lobos.
You don't need to throw him down. A tough call, but look great.
Alijado with time, throws to the near side. Look at that toss right into the bucket of Nick Senecal. Out of bounds he goes. Clock is stopped at $1:05.
Now, we've seen that outside vertical threat versus zone coverage. That was versus man coverage, and it was great coverage. You couldn't have dropped this ball in any better. What a throw versus man coverage. Wow, Micah is on fire.
24-yard connection there. Alijado well over 200 yards passing so far in this first half. A little bit of a high snap there. Fires to the near side, tried to sneak it in there to Jonah Panoke.
Micah keeps this up. He's going to need a police escort out of here after the game, and I may volunteer.
Cam Watts there on the coverage for the Lobos.
Maybe the Kafensis brothers will escort him out of the stadium. There's like 13 of them.
They're like royalty around here. There is a short list of names of families that are more entrenched in Hawaii football lore. Kafensis definitely on that short list.
Bob Wagner, Dick Tomey, Dwayne Aquina, all have had parts in the Kafensis family's success.
It was great to see them honored earlier in this game. Alijado going to try to step up in the pocket, gets out of trouble, now throws on the run out of bounds, but again avoids what could be a sack, avoids what could be a disastrous play.
Yeah, that was a double move.
For intentional grounding, the passer was outside the pocket and made the pass to the line of scrimmage.
Double move on the top. Again, though, Micah breaks the tackle, showing some strength.
So that brings up 3rd and 10.
This has to be one of the greatest performances of a freshman signal caller, first start in maybe not only recent history, ever.
Hawaii 4 for 7 on 3rd down. This could be 2-down territory considering where they are on the field. Completion here to Spencer Curtis. Gets by the would-be tackler. Into the red zone he goes. First down for the Rainbow Warriors.
Guess what? Spencer Curtis, Jordan High School. Guess who also played at Jordan High School? Kyle Kafentzis' son. You talk about destiny.
It's all poetry here tonight in Manoa. That was 23 yards.
Good job, Spencer, making the defender miss.
Alijado now 19 of 30 for 273. Throws to the corner of the end zone, just beyond the outstretched fingertips of Mokiao Atimalala.
I feel like I'm watching a 7-on-7 pylon game. Micah just gets back and throws it in deep balls, short balls, quick balls.
Yeah, this is different. This is a different vibe. This much more harkens back to some of the run and shoot stretches that we recall so fondly under June Jones, Nick Rolovich, and even in certain times under Timmy Chang.
Yeah, we hate to get hyperbolic here because Cole Brennan, maybe one of the greatest quarterbacks ever in college football, he didn't have the success early. It took him a while to really show the greatness.
Alejado rolling. He's going to have to get rid of it. He does. And we'll see what the ruling is here. Takes a bit of a hit at the end of that one, but you can see, again, that is exemplary of his moxie and his confidence.
Foul for intentional grounding. The passer was outside the tackle box, and the pass made it to the line of scrimmage.
You know what I liked about that play? There was like 3 offensive linemen there to pick him up, and they kind of picked him up by his jersey like a little kid, but at the same time, they know the value of this young signal caller.
So another 3rd down here for Hawaii. They are 5 for 8 on 3rd down in this game.
Timeout, Hawaii. This is our second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, it looked like the play clock was winding down, so Timmy Chang using the second timeout. Still has a timeout left. 31 seconds. They are most certainly in Matsuzawa field goal range here. What would you like to see here coming out of this huddle by this Hawaii offense?
Well, Matsuzawa's been perfect on extra points, been pretty consistent kicking field goals at the same time, but imagine putting 7 more points on the board going into halftime with that type of lead. And you know what? We talked about ball placement. We talked about decision making. It's the footwork of the young quarterback that's impressive.
The other thing about Micah Alejado is how he is distributing some of these passes. So he is 19 of 32 for 273 and 3 TDs. 9 different Hawaii receivers have catches here so far in this first half.
Nothing makes wide receivers happier than get involved, have to take a shower, catch the football.
He has been spreading the aloha. Now throws to the end zone. It is broken up. Great defensive play there made by Noah Pola Gates, former Nebraska Cornhusker in his 2nd year with the Lobos program.
Yeah, big-time guy. Played in the Polynesian Bowl. Big-time recruit out of high school. Transfers to New Mexico, and they do have a lot of transfers. They have a lot of new players on this roster. Bronco has improved the athleticism.
1 tackle and a PBU now for Pola Gates. And so Kansei Matsuzawa on to try the field goal. This will be a 33-yarder. He is 11 of 14 in field goals this season. The long of 41. And this one is tugged left. And so Hawaii will come away with nada on that last drive. 22 seconds still on the clock. New Mexico still with 3 timeouts.
Didn't learn that on YouTube.
Of course, Kansei Matsuzawa, who famously learned how to kick on YouTube, started sort of teaching himself, so to speak. But it was actually on a see the world type of trip that was bankrolled by his dad, allowed him to travel to the Bay Area, watched a Chargers-Raiders game, and upon that point, fell in love with American football. Went back, saw the kickers in action, and thought, that's what I want to do. And he is now a Division I FBS kicker, although he just missed that field goal.
Yeah, I've seen you and Billy Hull at the range. I've seen you golf like that. But
Oh, yeah, that definitely looked a little bit more like my golf swing, that's for sure, as Dampier veers out of bounds across the way, still 13 seconds left. Elijah Palmer was closest to him there defensively for Hawaii.
still a 2-score game. 13 more seconds to finish off. We've been talking so much about the offense, but I think the defense has been very responsible in their assignments. Dennis Thurman talked about communication, but he also talked about eyes being in the right place.
Dampier looking downfield with time and overthrows, a little too tall, his receiver Ryan Davis.
And if Dampier can continue to improve on his accuracy, he's going to be a heck of a threat for the Mountain West Conference in the next 2 years. I would imagine people are going to try to poach him as well.
Yeah, you were talking about the Hawaii defense, and they had a chip on their shoulder over the last 2 weeks because the way it was characterized by defensive coordinator Dennis Thurman, the dam broke in Logan, Utah. Hawaii surrendered season highs in points, total yards, rushing yards, first downs, and passing touchdowns. And so certainly they are out to prove something here in this game against one of the more potent offenses, not just in the Mountain West, but in all of college football. And that tackle puts an end to the first half. And what a first half it was. The first career start for Micah Alejado at quarterback has gone so far swimmingly. A 21-9 advantage for the Bows at halftime on senior night. The halftime crew will break it down when we come back.
Welcome back to Manoa, where it is halftime as the University of Hawaii on senior night leads New Mexico 21-9 in their regular season finale. How's it going, everybody? Rob DeMello with Abu Ma'afala and Kavika Halams. And guys, true freshman quarterback Micah Alejado getting his very first start out of Bishop Gorman comes in against this New Mexico team, and he has led the University of Hawaii to a 21-9 lead. 273 yards passing, 3 touchdowns out of the Frosh. What jumps out as far as what's working for number 12?
Well, I think number one is just that he's so smooth. You know, it doesn't feel frenetic. He's just taking what the defense is giving him. He's making smart decisions and getting rid of the football. And we can see, like we talked about at the top of this broadcast, man, he gets the ball out of his hands quickly and into the hands of the receivers. And if you know anything about this run and shoot offense, that's what it's all about. Throwing on time, throwing to spots, making sure guys are open, and he's putting on a clinic right now against New Mexico.
Kavika.
Wow, and you're looking at a team that's dropping 8 into coverage, and it's actually turning into a 7-on-7, as you heard Rich talk about. Like, it looks like a pylon tournament when you have an experienced quarterback in that area of football. But also, I'm not really surprised at all, to be honest with you, because I've seen this kid play up close last year against 5-star caliber talent, and there was just no blink in this guy's entire decision making. He has a calm about himself. He understands coverages, as Abu talked about, and that makes you feel a lot more comfortable with what you have as a freshman going forward. He's really putting on a show, and just a tremendous job by the coaching staff of really speeding up this game for him and making things really easier for him. But he's getting into his second and third reads like a veteran out there. Just an amazing first half performance.
Alejado has hit 8 different receivers in that first half, and you brought up a word in describing what you saw as far as calm, right? How important is that aspect to it? Because, I mean, even if you remove the fact that he's a true freshman getting his very first start, but when you just look at a guy that's being handed the keys really for the first time, no matter how old you are, to be that calm in the huddle, that kind of has that effect on everybody as far as, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, well, then let's go out and do this.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and it's that confidence that he has. You hear Kanoa and Rich talking about that swag, because he understands who he is as a quarterback. He understands his responsibilities, not just on the field, but off the field. And like you said, Rob, when you have that type of feel from the number one guy on the team, it allows the rest of the team to just play with that quiet confidence that they worked with all summer, all throughout spring ball, and all throughout this season, and it's kind of permeating everybody on the team right now.
Kavika, Decal Crowdis, he had Micah Alejado's very first touchdown at Utah State a couple of weeks ago. He gets his first touchdown in his first start over here at the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex. There seems to be a good relationship there as far as Micah being able to play in the pocket and Crowdis saying like, oh, it's my time.
You know, and you can see that extra little jump in the receiver step as well. And as Abu talked about, when you're able to have that calm about you, and talking to Micah's dad, Paul Kamaki Alejado, he mentioned that this kid has just been that type of player from the Pop Warner days where nothing really rattles him. And this is he's showing that. And now you see his receiver that he's looking around surveying. But look where he puts the ball, guys. He's put it in an area where after the catch, you're going to get more yardage even if he didn't score a touchdown. But he gives his receivers an opportunity to make plays after the catch, whether it's a deep ball, whether it's a flare to the flats, whether it's a curl. He's taking like 0.0 seconds to get the ball delivered to allow his receivers to make plays after the catch.
Very impressive first half for this UH offense. Again, Micah Alejado, 273 yards passing, 3 touchdowns as Hawaii takes a 21-9 lead into the lockers. We got more to talk about. You're watching Spectrum Sports in Hawaii's finale. Welcome back to Manoa, where the University of Hawaii leads New Mexico 21-9 on senior night at the Ching Complex. All right, guys, this University of Hawaii defense holding New Mexico to 9 points in that first half. You got to keep in mind, this is a Lobos team that a couple of weeks ago, the last time that they played, scored 38 against Washington State, a ranked Cougars team at the time. They had a run of multiple weeks in a row where they've scored over 50 points this season. For this UH defense to be holding this New Mexico team to 9 points in the first 2 quarters, pretty impressive, right, Kavika?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he's throwing over 500 yards of total offense multiple times this year with the type of quarterback that they have, the dangerous receivers, the running backs in that backfield. Hawaii swarming. They obviously did their homework. Credit again, we throw back to Dennis Thurman. And of course, bouncing back from 2 weeks ago against Utah State, that performance is way beyond in the review mirror. So it's really impressive to see how they slowed down this potent offense with what even Rich Miano called the player of the year in the Mountain West Conference offensively. And they're really doing a great job today in their first half.
And it's interesting because this last game we talked about in the pregame show where you're trying to win for the seniors, you're also probably more importantly trying to springboard into 2025. You have true freshman quarterback Micah Alejado playing as well as he is. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know if there's a guy on this roster that people are more excited to see the progression of than Lester Longafuaina, the linebacker who had a big play in that first half.
And, you know, you love, number one, the measurables that he has. And you can see him come in with that Peanut Tillman punch. And why are we excited? This young man comes from the islands of Samoa, not very well coached, but now he's getting the coaching. He reminds me of a teammate of mine, Mel Purcell. He was a Prop 48 that we brought out of Samoa, and we know what Mel did for us. And so, again, to see what the future holds, especially for this defense, what they've done this year, and then what they still have in the gun to reload for next year is super, super exciting.
And Dampier, as you mentioned, he's been able to get his rushing yards, right, which everyone expected. But to hold him to 40% completion percentage, only 88 yards passing, this is a guy that can wreck your game plan. And if you just don't allow him to get those extra yards, I mean, that's kind of what's happening here, right?
And you can see them bottling those guys up. I mean, bottling him up in the pocket and just allowing him to stay in the pocket, force him to throw the football because he can run the football. I mean, with the best of him, what an amazing run he had earlier right here with the, you know, easy touchdown. He called his own number, but forcing him to throw the ball against plays into Hawaii's hands because that secondary is doing a nice job in coverage on that back end. But it just goes to show you the credit. Let's flip it back to Micah. Like, you hyping up this guy with Mountain West Player of the Year, offensive this and that. But the accuracy that you need to play this sport on the Division I level, that says so much more of what Micah's doing, not as much as what, you know, Dampier's not able to do in that first half.
Absolutely. All right, we got to take another break. When we come back, we'll get you ready for the second half as Hawaii takes a 21-9 lead to halftime on senior night. Welcome back. It's halftime. University of Hawaii in front of New Mexico, 21-9. Just moments away from getting this thing going into the third quarter. All right, guys, this is a big game for the University of Hawaii. Senior night, trying to get a victory for the guys that are leaving the program, trying to build some momentum for next season. But then you also throw into it, this is an even bigger game for the Lobos, because if they win, they're in a bowl game. So the University of Hawaii playing spoilers. Before we talk about what's going to happen here in the second half, that kind of role of being able to try to ruin someone else's season. If we can't play in a bowl game, you can't either. How big is that for this team?
Oh, that's huge. That's motivation, right? And that's kind of some of the things that you talk about. You want to get going. You know, at halftime, that's what maybe not the coaches are saying, but for sure the players. Hey, let's not let these guys have fun in December. We can't have fun. Let them be at home. Misery loves company. Merry Christmas.
I love it. All right, Kavika, when you start this second half, the University of Hawaii getting the football, what do you anticipate seeing out of this offense? More of the same? Do you expect them to play a little different with the lead? What do you see?
I better see aggressiveness. I better see continue to do what they've done in their first half. I know they're going to try to run that clock and see if they can maintain ball discipline, but at the same time, you've got a quarterback who is on fire, as well as his receivers. The O-line is doing what they need to do up front. So continue to put the pressure on the New Mexico Lobos and deliver those Christmas presents. We're talking about all L's for these guys to go home and just wonder what could happen last year, because as Nalo Emerson spoke about, they're hit with bad intentions. They remembered what happened last year as well. So there's a lot to be on the table here for the Hawaii Warriors.
Timmy Chang and company trying to put a lump of coal in New Mexico's stocking. We'll see how this one plays out. If Hawaii can seal the deal, they're up 21-9. Kanoa Leahy and Rich Miano will carry you through the rest of the way here in Manoa.
Welcome back. Time now for the Pizza Hut halftime statistics. What stands out to you, Rich Miano?
How do you spell Micah? M-I-C-A-H. Passing yards, 273 yards. And, you know, there's never been a quarterback in his first start throw 4 touchdown passes. Micah's only one shy with 30 minutes to play.
Yeah, how about 14.4 yards per completion for the true freshman in his first career start. Kanoa Leahy standing up here in the booth next to Rich Miano, who's gone through a bit of a wardrobe change. You want to explain?
Well, first of all, I love this guy, Kent Kafensis. You see his picture right there. You see his number right here. And you see the name on the back of the jersey. And we spoke so much about this family, but to me, I feel like I was hanai'd by them.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And he must mean something to you, because it takes a lot for Rich Miano to wear anyone else's jersey. Usually he wears his own with his own name.
3 with an 8 instead of just the 8.
We got to get a quick word from you on what you thought of that first half. Obviously, Micah Alejado going to steal some of the headlines here with the performance so far.
There's no question. I'm not so sure that I've ever seen a true freshman have so much success so early, so often. When you look at the incompletions, they were balls that were well thrown. He decides to throw the ball away instead of taking sacks. Calm, cool, collective, it.
Yeah, he has perhaps that it factor. Let's send it down to Jordan Helly. He's on the field. He's had an opportunity to talk with a couple of the coaches. Jordan, what's up?
Hey, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. First up, talk to Coach Timmy Chang. He loved the offense's rhythm, loved what he was seeing from his freshman quarterback in Alejado, just like the rest of us, I think. Really liked how quick he was getting the football out. Big point of emphasis for him, he said at halftime, just avoiding those drive-killing or drive-extending penalties on either side of the football, as we saw a couple of times there in that first half. He had a lot of positives to say about that defense, though, holding New Mexico just to 9 points. Said they're really going to have to play with discipline to help contain Dampier and continue that success on into the second half. On the other side for Bronco Mendenhall, kind of just simply said, hey, we got to break up that rhythm. We got to start putting a little more pressure on this Hawaii offense, and particularly Alejado. And then on defense, on the other side of the football for their offense, they got to find a way to execute a little bit better in the red zone. We'll send it back upstairs.
All right, thanks a lot, Jordan. New Mexico won the toss. They received to start the game. So Hawaii on the receiving end will have first stab with their offense here to start this second half. Do want to give a shout out to Kia Augustin and all of the good peeps at Honolulu Burger Company. They have gathered over there at the location on Wailea Avenue to watch tonight's game. They have had a bit of a weekly viewing party of UH football over there, so wanted to give a big shout out to them. Hope they are enjoying what they have seen here so far. I know a lot of people have certainly been appreciative of the performance of number 12, Micah Alejado, who has been just sensational here so far in this game. Bit of a revelation, as a matter of fact, and he checks it down to Cam Barfield, who took a shot at the end of that play by Noah Pola Gates. But it'll be a positive gain once again, and yet another completion for Alijado.
That's the first time we've seen the screen game, and that was a nice call by Timmy Chang coming out of halftime. Change it up a little bit, expecting pressure, possibly expecting a lot more man coverage.
Alijado with all kinds of time. Still looking, and just as the pursuit was closing in, he tried to find Jonah Panoke and took a hit from behind. It falls incomplete. That was Moso Oipala Tuitele, who came into the kitchen of Micah Alejado at the last second there.
Derek Favi, the offensive line coach, has to be enjoying what he's seeing, and that's protection. Micah having plenty of time to really decipher the defense, go through his whole progression.
Still no sacks yet given up by this Hawaii offense. 3rd and 6. Alejado to the near side. It is a wide open Ashlock, and look at this, just a sprint down the sideline. Once again, Hawaii traversing into Lobos territory.
Yeah, and we talked about pressure, right? That's man-free coverage, so you have a free safety. But again, really great concept when you get a little bit of a rub, you get a little bit of a open receiver, and a really good throw.
26 yards on the connection there. Hawaii offense moving. Alijado now 21 of 36 for 302, and that time keeps the ball, and he gets forward for a couple.
Yeah, and sometimes you keep it even though the read does not tell you to that, just to keep the defense honest. But there's going to be times where Micah's going to see that end man on the line of scrimmage come down, being too flat, not at the level of the ball, and he's going to pick up some yardage because he's got some quicks.
Yeah, he is certainly approaching some records for a guy making his first career start in this Hawaii program, as that pass is complete to Curtis, but they'll say he was out of bounds.
Yeah, again, another good throw, back shoulder fade.
Alijado in disbelief. He thought that was a connection. Take a look at the feet. Ooh. Right foot is down. Does he secure the ball? It looks like he does.
And they're going to review it.
His play and the catch. An incomplete pass is under further review.
And that's when you know that you're dealing, because Micah Alejado immediately was protesting that should be a good catch, and at least from these angles it looks like it should be.
And you look at that ball, it wasn't a tight spiral. It was kind of floating and fluttering, whatever else, but ball placement, exactly where you want to throw the back shoulder fade.
So as it currently stands, Alijado has 21 completions. The first career start completions record was 31, put in by his head coach Timmy Chang. Passing yards, Alijado at 302. The record is 418 by Cole McDonald in his first career start. And the passing touchdowns, you have a whole bunch of guys that have thrown 3. And so one more passing touchdown in Alijado will set a new record for TD tosses in a first career start as a Rainbow Warrior.
What did you say yardage-wise with Cole McDonald?
It was over 4.
Over 400.
Yeah, 418.
Wow. That's
to be
impressive.
exact.
I missed that guy. He was, again, unheralded. I think almost not appreciated to the extent of how good he was. And, yeah, heck of a guy, too.
Yeah, that was an interesting dynamic that started to play out over the course of those Nick Rolovich / Cole McDonald years, because you also had the presence of Chevin Cordero. And it was similar to a degree in the way that you saw Mike Alejado and that groundswell of support to see him out there on the field.
Receiver caught the ball inbounds at the 28.5-yard line. The result of the play is a first down.
So 15 yards on that completion.
Chad Kapanui, who coached Micah at Bishop Gorman, former Rainbow Warrior linebacker, played with Chad Owens at Roosevelt High School, told me about this young man for years now and said he's going to be a success when he gets his opportunity to start as a Rainbow Warrior.
Yeah, there were a lot of people who were sort of clamoring for this, especially after losses, after performances where perhaps the offense didn't look as sharp as fans were hoping. This is Christian Vaughn on the carry, another Vegas product, prepped at Desert Oasis High School in Nevada, and then found his way to Manoa via Butte College.
Remember, Timmy Chang told us during the meeting yesterday, the coaches meeting, that he actually went to Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman, 5 or 6 times to recruit Micah.
How about that throw? On a line, Senecal down the sideline, and he'll be out of bounds around the 5. That had a little extra chili pepper water on it.
Certainly did. That ball's coming out hot. Catchable.
So 21 yards on that connection. We're seeing some big chunk pass plays here for Hawaii. Alejado to the near side. Caught by Ashlock. Spinning around the defender, but he gets rolled up and put in the spin cycle by Cam Watts, who wasn't about to let go.
Good throw on that 5-yard speed break out. Not sure if Cafelli caught that the first time. He just slips a little bit, but really good throw, good catch.
Hawaii 2 for 4 in the red zone here in this game. 2nd and goal. Alijado. That is a completion. Senecal touchdown.
I mentioned it before, but it's almost like pylon 7-on-7 football. Incredible precision in the pass game and concepts.
And so give Micah Alejado the record of 4th touchdown pass in his first career start as a Rainbow Warrior. Nobody has thrown more. This guy is lava hot. He is cooking right now. And now Matsuzawa on for the point after. And that is good. It is a 28-9 advantage for the Rainbow Warriors. Micah Alejado dazzling the masses.
Fun. You're going to see the outside receiver take it up vertically. What that does is it gets the horizontal separation. But Nick Senecal, watch the little delay as he taps his feet. And then he gets inside, and when you're even, you're leaving. Nice job of creating horizontal separation. Again, the superlatives continue, but good throw.
Yeah, it's the timing of some of these throws. He is, in essence, by virtue of that timing, kind of throwing guys open here throughout this game. 9 plays, 75-yard drive, 3:02 off the clock, and touchdown pass number 4, which is a new record for the Rainbow Warriors for a quarterback making his first career start. So Micah Alejado, yeah, the hyperbole, the superlatives, all of that stuff, they have been, I think, justifiable here to this point. As the Hawaii special teams takes care of business on the D'Angelo Mays return. And the Lobos have some work to do. New Mexico trying to qualify for a bowl game for the first time since going to back-to-back New Mexico bowl games in 2015 and 2016 under Bob Davie. Mendenhall, by the way, if they are able to become bowl eligible, would be one of 12 active FBS head coaches to lead 3 different programs to a bowl game, but they got a whole lot of work to do if they're going to pull that off.
BYU, Virginia, and now New Mexico, but they do have their work cut out.
Dampier throwing to the near side, and the catch is made, and they will say that it was a catch, a completion to Ryan Davis.
Good throw, not bad coverage. If you're going to give up something, you give up the out.
Some of the defensive numbers for Hawaii: Jemai Otis, 5 tackles for those solo. Peter Manuma, 4 tackles and a PBU. As this is Eli Sanders on the carry, and he'll get out for first down yardage and more. Also Cam Stone with 4 tackles and a couple of passes defended. And how about Lester Longafuaina with 3 tackles and also that forced fumble. Dampier As New Mexico trying to run a little more tempo here. And the completion to Caleb Medford from Henderson, Texas. He is a former TCU Horned Frog. Was all Mountain West honorable mention in 2023.
Caleb Medford beating Caleb Brown, and that's where you say a great throw beats great coverage, because that was really well covered by Sebo.
Good defense there. Peter Manuma stepping up into the lane and shutting the door.
Good to see the safety playing in that 8-man box run situations. Dennis Thurman getting him up there. Good tackle.
2nd and 7, gain of 3 on that run.
You see the box, right? You see the 3-down lineman, and then you see 3-5 type of defense.
Send Sanders into motion. Dampier up the gut, and nothing doing. A couple of black shirts wrapping him up. You had Malachi Finau, who was in on that. Like Jackie Johnson may have also been in the area for Hawaii.
Yeah, Malachi Finau, inside guys. Jeff Reinbold, defensive line coach, doing a nice job again of canceling gaps, and that's what allows the linebackers to flow so freely and flow north and south.
I think that Jemai Otis, the other guy, tag teaming on the defensive play. 2 tackles now for Finau. 3rd and 7. Dampier in trouble, hit as he throws. It is incomplete. Manuma on the coverage, and Dampier took a shot at the end of things. Jackie Johnson came off the edge with a little bit of extra behind him.
Yeah, 2 of my favorite players, right? Jackie Johnson applying the pressure. You got to see the hit at the end of this play. And then watch Peter Manuma playing the hands and eyes. He's just not one of those guys that plays in the box. He plays the pass. He plays center field, and it's so good to see him out there making plays.
Peter Manuma, 5 tackles now. A couple of pass breakups, and Aaron Rodriguez to punt. Going to try to pin Hawaii deep. And the fair catch is made by Nick Senecal.
Timmy Chang making sure to get the right personnel group on the field.
Illegal formation on the offense, more than 4 in the backfield. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the subsequent dead ball spot. First down.
And so how do you start to characterize what we are seeing, and how do you start to characterize what this could portend moving forward for Hawaii, what Micah Alejado is putting on display here in the season finale, his first career start? But we saw some of it when he was in that reserve role a couple of weeks ago in Logan, Utah. So now the sample size a little bigger, and this guy continues to ball out.
You know, I was thinking the full spectrum, right? What if he plays poorly? Would that be something that we would judge him by in the future? Or if he plays extremely well, would we think we have the next second coming? And right now, obviously playing so well.
He was 6 of 7 on that last drive with the touchdown pass, and he's going for big-time yardage there. It falls incomplete. Noah Pola Gates had DeKel Crowdis blanketed there.
Yeah, and that one was slightly underthrew. It looked like DeKel had a step or 2 on the defender, but again, Mike is showing some arm strength.
It looked like it hit Pola Gates in the back. Had he turned around, it may have been an easy interception there. But still, you're kind of seeing the success of Micah Alejado here in the play calling. Hawaii has only run the ball 10 times officially. Alejado, he's going to heave it to the right sideline, and it goes off of the hand of Nick Senecal. We have a penalty flag.
Good throw. That one was on the money. That was almost caught. It's impressive to see in the deep ball.
Pass interference. Number 18 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, now it seems like Alejado's just having a good time. He's just trying to throw some bombs out there.
Stepping into it. Again, good ball placement. You liked it over the outside shoulder, but at the same time, good adjustment.
So if Braden Shager had the Shager bomb, what are we calling those from Alijado? Alijado throwing to the far sideline. That one sailed a little bit.
I don't know,
over
but
the
I'm
head
a
of Nick
marketing guy,
Sandoval.
and I think you could make a lot of money if you catchphrase. What is the Alijado bomb?
Well, I mean, the pronunciation of Alijado is Ali, right?
Right.
So almost like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
So maybe Ali Haymaker.
I'm not sure how many T-shirts are
It's
sell,
just
but
off the, it's just off the top of the head, all right? We're workshopping over here.
Showed a little quicks.
Yeah. I think that's the other dimension here, the fact that he's been able to escape some pressure and some trouble when there has been some. And still no sacks given up by Hawaii, and that has been a bugaboo all season.
Wow, good move. Good quicks.
How about this stat here, Rich? No negative plays for Hawaii on offense, no sacks against, no TFLs against. And hanging on to that ball is Pofele Ashlock. It's going to be short of the first down. And so we'll see how confident is Timmy Chang feeling with this offensive unit at the moment.
You wouldn't see this in the NFL, but you see it in college football, and why not?
You've heard of Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions, right? Maybe you have seen it in the NFL. Fourth down.
He's a little different.
Offense still out there. Hawaii 1 for 1 on fourth down in this game, but rolling the dice here, potentially. And they decide to use a timeout.
Timeout. Hawaii. This is their first timeout of the half. Media time.
So we'll take a timeout as well. We'll see if Timmy keeps the offense out there when we return. Welcome back. So Timmy Chang using a timeout here. Hawaii kept the offense out there, 4th and 1. Let's see what the decision is. It looks like the offense is coming back out.
3-3-5 defense. I think you're going to see a little mesh or that quick game. It's man-to-man coverage. Defensive backs up there in almost a press position.
Yeah, Landon Sims in the backfield. And they're going to give it to him, and he is rudely met at the line of scrimmage, and he is stuffed, stopped short by Devin Brant Epps. And so Hawaii decides to roll the dice there, and it comes up 7 here for Timmy Chang.
Yeah, and it's been a brilliantly called play thus far. One of the best game plans Timmy Chang has had, best quarterback play. Not too sure about that particular call.
So quick change, turnover on downs. And the Lobos with excellent field position. So, yeah, maybe a little overconfidence there coming from the Hawaii sideline, but I mean, you can understand why they would think that. Here's a dump down to Sanders. Nice move, and he'll be rolled out of bounds by Jalen Smith. And we got penalty flags at the end of that one. Maybe a horse collar, depending on where he grabbed on the jersey.
That, or I think he did throw him down when the runner was clearly in the paint, but could be either one. We've seen Jalen Smith get some penalties previously.
And there you see the grabbing of the nameplate area, but also the toss as the runner was out of bounds. So yeah, maybe we can bring in Kyle Galdera here, our rules specialist. What stands out most to you?
Yeah, Kano, that's a great call by you. It could be a combination of both. He has that back part of the neck / nameplate area, and then he not only continues to take the player out of bounds, but he gives them that extra kind of oomph on the toss. Let's see what the ref says here.
Late hit out of bounds on number 3 of the defense. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
And so, you know, you talk about taking some chances, taking some risks. Hawaii goes for it on 4th and 1. They call a timeout. They still have the intention of going for it. They don't get it. And now all of a sudden, after the quick change, the Lobos have a chance to get a quick score here and kind of change the vibe here with still a whole lot of time left in this game.
Yeah, unnecessary, right? You don't have to toss them out of bounds. And that's what officials are looking for, is the unnecessary violence of this game.
More whistles here prior to the snap. 7:47 left to play here in the third quarter. But what you're trying to play spoiler and ruin the bowl hopes of Bronco Mendenhall and the New Mexico Lobos. Coming off of that signature win against Washington State.
Operator, please put 8:06 on the game clock. 8:06. Thank you.
Add some time
we'll
here.
Start on my ready.
It was interesting to hear Bronco Mendenhall talking about that win against the Cougars and telling his players, hey, drink it in, look around, soak this in. They are rushing the field at New Mexico, and he just wanted to drive that point home because obviously that shows a whole different kind of narrative around this program from what they have experienced in recent years. Defense trying to get the crowd riled up. And we were ready to play. Pretty active crowd here. The final Saturday of the college football season for Hawaii, and a great play made by Peter Manuma with the penetration and the takedown.
Very good job of scraping, dissecting, reading, and then the big-time tackle.
And immediately after the play, Peter Manuma drops down to one knee.
Timeout for injury, number 1 of the defense.
So he makes his 6th tackle. And again, looked like he may have taken a hit to the helmet earlier in the game, possibly the shoulder. Was kind of doing the finger wag for a moment there, and then all of a sudden was gesturing to the sideline that he needed to get looked at. They're actually looking at his left ankle, it appears, or at least the lower leg.
That was interesting because he seemed to get up like there was no pain or there was no injury, and then sometimes it happens in the celebration. I've seen that happen.
Yeah, you can see him. You can see him limping there. Yeah, it was looking initially like it was more of a celebration gesture, and then that quickly kind of transformed into, oh no, he's actually signaling for the sideline. This guy has been playing through some stuff here late in the season.
You see Hawaii team doctors. I don't see Brian Wong, the head trainer, necessarily out there, but lots of good medical care.
One of the guys who committed during Hawaii's 2021 recruiting class. So a guy who committed under the previous regime is a guy who carried over here when Timmy Chang took over as head coach. And he is walking very gingerly here at Rich Miano.
Yeah, I would be surprised unless they retape his ankle. He's been, banged up the last couple of games, and when he's healthy, he's a menace.
Yeah, he has really built himself into one of the key components for this Hawaii defense, seemingly thriving in this Dennis Thurman scheme as well for the Rainbows this season.
Yeah, Dennis, we talked about earlier in the season, right? Simplified the schemes, allowing the players to play fast. But again, that third level, right? You got that first level, and you get the linebackers at the second level. Been so consistent when number 1 is on the football field.
Well, Dennis Thurman's mantra is, why sit back on your heels trying to protect everything? Like, you have to take some chances. You have to be the aggressor. That seems to play right into the personality of a guy like Peter Manuma, correct?
Yeah, and prior to the Utah State game, he admitted that they were tackling much better. 2 weeks ago, not so much, but they're back to being the defense that we've seen most of this football season.
But they are trying to defend their own red zone here. 2nd and 10. The throw over the middle is caught. That is caught at the 2. And a good reception by Ryan Davis. Elijah Palmer was all over him. Davis, in his 2nd year with New Mexico, spent the previous 3 seasons at UAB.
Zero coverage. Hawaii was bringing everybody. Dennis Thurman dialing up the blitz. Great throw, good catch, quick slant.
So 1st and goal here for the Lobos. Dampier running up the middle, and just like he did earlier in the game, calls his own number And that is a touchdown for New Mexico. And all of a sudden, things have shifted a little bit in terms of the mood here at Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex.
All of a sudden, suddenness. Watch this. Watch it develop. You see the guard and the tackle pull, counter, OT, OG, and then there he is.
2-yard plunge, his second touchdown run of the game. He now has 18 touchdown runs on the season. And Luke Drzwicki for the point after. So they decide not to go for 2. After failing to get the 2 on their first touchdown, they did add a field goal since. It is a 12-point separation on the scoreboard. Just under 7 minutes to play in the third. All right, so this is a bit of the combination of things that have not gone well for Hawaii. The missed field goal there by Kansei Matsuzawa. And then Hawaii, after a timeout, deciding to go for it in their own territory on 4th and 1. It's Landon Sims up the middle as the call. He gets denied. And that opens the door for New Mexico on the short field to get into the end zone. And they are right back into this game. You kind of had the sense the Lobos didn't have much going for them at that point. And so the decision to go for it on 4th and 1 as opposed to maybe punting it and trying to flip the field or something along those lines, it has absolutely opened the door for New Mexico to feel like they are back in the mix here in the third quarter.
As an analyst, I tried to explain that, and then you countered with the Detroit Lions going for it on 4th, but you don't run the slow developing dive. You may go for this, but Micah has been so successful with the quick game. There's also been some RPO possibilities, but yeah, the play call, I think, was the biggest question.
I mean, pointing out that Dan Campbell would sometimes go for it in that situation was not necessarily a recommendation that they should also do the same.
Yeah, and we need to tell the audience, you're one of the biggest Detroit Lion fans. Kyle's over here hating on the Lions, saying that their point differential, they're winning close games. So we've got a little confusion.
He's a Green Bay Packers guy.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. And then Rich Miano, whoever's in first place in the standings.
Buffalo Bills.
Micah Alejado back to work, and he completes it to Jonah Panoke. We talked about Panoke and how he has played here down the stretch. One of the guys who will be honored at the end of this game as Hawaii bids aloha to 23 seniors. Had a great game against UNLV, 6 catches for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns in that close loss. He's up to 4 catches for 31 yards here in this one. Alijado, that one gets batted. And maybe one of the things that you would be concerned about for Alijado, which we have not, interestingly enough, seen at all until that play, is the fact that he is listed at 5'10", a bit more diminutive. That may be the possibility of some of those bat downs would introduce themselves.
Yeah, and one way you kind of defend against that is you have him line up a little deeper in the gun to have better throwing lanes and more vision. But look at that.
Yeah,
throw.
right back at it. It's Spencer Curtis, right on time, right in rhythm.
Big first down. Going back to Jonah Panoke, Timmy Chang allowed the St. Louis players and the Kahuku players to attend the game last evening, and what a game it was. Tupu Alu in his first year winning the state's Open Championship. Tremendous football.
And you had Titan Lackadin, the UH commit, as that pass is right in the pocket for Carson Pupun, who turns upfield, gets across midfield. And the first catch of the evening for the Lahaina native. But yeah, Lackadin, who showed out in that ball game. I mean, he was in many ways the offense for St. Louis.
Micah kind of takes his eye off the ball, but you know what? Good things continue to happen. Fortuitous.
That one off of the dome, but he was able to gather it, still make the first down throw. Now goes to the other side, working the entire width and length of the field here, Rich.
I can't explain how good of a shot that throw was. And even though it's 5 yards, the ball has to travel somewhere around 35 yards. It has to be released on time. And again, it sounds like, you know, I'm leading the fan club, but there's reason for that.
It's going to be a give to Sims, and he's able to run off tackle for a first down. So move those chains, say the Rainbow Warriors.
Sims running hard.
Gain of
Tough
6
yardage.
there for Sims.
Little outside zone. See some inside zone, some outside zone.
Alijado now 30 for 48 for 384 and 4 touchdown tosses. That time kept it himself. Hat comes off at the end of the play.
Hoping we get to see that hairdo.
Number 12's helmet came off. Let's leave for a play.
And so because of the helmet popping off, John Keave Sangapolutele has to come in for a play. At least a play. From Eva Beach out of Punahou School. You got a couple of Eva Beach guys now as what you would have to say that the top 2 quarterbacks at the moment with Braden Shager out for Hawaii. Second and 10. And he's going to check it down. This is Sims. And a little yak there for Landon Sims.
Great play call, right? You fake that little inside zone. You get the quarterback on the perimeter where it's an easy, simple throw. 20 personnel, 2 backs, 3 wide receivers. One of the first times we've seen that formation, and then Landon Sims doing the rest.
13-yard connection there. Good to see that from John Keave Sangapolutele.
Going back to Eva Beach, right? Nalu Tungavailoa. These young quarterbacks grew up watching Marcus Mariota. They grew up watching Tua Tungavailoa, Taulia, and these guys are doing a nice job.
Yeah, Micah Alejado, who has actually had a bit of tutoring from Tua and Nalu, as well as Vinny Passes. Some of that quarterback network that is now so prevalent connected to the islands. That pass swung out to Barfield, not much there. That is a completion, though, for Alijado, which is his 31st of the game, and that now ties the record for completions in a first career start with his head coach, Timmy Chang, at 31. So that'll be a fun conversation when this one is done.
With 18 minutes still to be played in this football game, a whole quarter and 3 minutes.
Hey, Coach, I zoomed past your completion record for first career start. What do you think about that? He's going to throw to the end zone. It is incomplete. The penalty flag comes out, though. Great job by Senecal to adjust to try to get in position for that catch. And a little too handsy on the defensive side.
Pass interference. Number 18 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, it looks like he was holding him and it was definitely contact. Not really arguably, not even arguing that particular pass interference call. And Bronco Mendenhall not looking too pleased with his defense.
Cam Watts, the perpetrator of that penalty. So first and goal for Hawaii from the 5.
I do like Bronco's lay, though.
Yeah.
Probably from the Anai family.
That would be a good theory. You got the tight end, Oki Salavea, in there. And they're going to flip it to Tylan Hines. We have not seen much of him here in this game. And he has nowhere to go. Trying to run on that reverse as Randolph Kapai, another former Nebraska Cornhusker, was pivotal in shutting that down.
We talked about Tua. That's almost that blind kind of flip. You talk about a savant in terms of footwork, the ability to get the ball to the proper, without even a no-look type of pass.
So second and goal. A loss of 7 on that play for Hawaii. Alejado over the middle. That is caught. Panoke trying to keep his feet, gets to the 1. So it'll be third and goal from there.
What a drive. What an answer. Going down the field. If they can get this ball in the end zone, there's not too many possessions left in this football game.
That's exactly right. Just as New Mexico had worked its way back into this game, A lot of people will lament the fact that maybe Hawaii should not have even gone for it on 4th and 1. But the response by this offensive unit here on the welcome mat. Can they punch it in? 3rd and goal. Alijado still looking, being chased, still looking. He will throw to the corner, and it is incomplete. Was looking in the direction of Jonah Panoke.
That was the same concept we've seen so many times.
An incomplete pass. 4th down.
Where the outside receiver goes up, the inside receiver runs, but it was covered. So what does he do? He scrambles, tries to create, but most importantly, does not take the sack.
Well, that one almost picked off of the ricochet there by Noah Avinger. Here is now Kansei Matsuzawa to try a little chip shot. A 19-yarder.
Ball in the middle of the field.
Missed a try earlier. This one, no problemo. So Hawaii goes back up. This time by 15, 31-16 here, late in the 3rd quarter.
And I agree with you, right? You question the play call. The momentum could have shifted, but what does the offense do? It comes down and methodically marches the ball down the field. Micah's thrown it deep, he's thrown it intermediate, he's thrown it shallow, and then you got a little running game going with Landon Simpson. And then the play calling, the little reverse, even though it wasn't successful, you're putting things on film for the future of this program.
All right, so Micah Alejado, let's take a look at this. After he lets the ball go, hops over the signage and, runs into one of the women watching just on the sideline area and looked like she may have been holding an adult beverage. She looks to
water.
be okay.
It's H2O.
Oh, it was water. Was it just water? We hope that it was just water. We know how pricey some of those beverages can be.
Kind of funny what you got out of that. I got out of that Micah has some hops.
Oh,
He jumped over
my biggest
the sign.
concern was the beverage, for sure.
Wow, we're such different personalities.
Yeah, priorities, man. 1:23 left to play here in the 3rd. So to update you on the numbers for Micah Alejado, 32 of 51, the 32 completions, a new record for a Hawaii quarterback in his first start. Also has the 4 touchdown passes. That is a new record. 395 passing yards. He's closing in on Cole McDonald's 418, which is the record for that category. He is on the verge potentially of having the most dynamic, if not already, the most dynamic opening debut as a starter performance in the history of this program.
We're not even in the 4th quarter.
We're not in the 4th quarter. And that one is booted deep by Ben Falk, and so the Lobos offense coming back out onto the field.
Yeah, and again, we've talked a lot about Micah. We've talked a lot about the offensive line, the receivers. Everybody seems to be in sync, in unison. This defense playing pretty good as well, because this is an explosive offense, and I've been impressed by whoever's responsible for the quarterback not allowing him to break the super long runs we've seen so often.
Starting to get a few suggestions on possible names for deep passes by Micah Alejado. We have Micah Magic as being one of the suggestions. We're getting some of these on social media. Micah Missile. That's not bad for a deep throw, as that is a nice throw dealt by Devin Dampier, and he's able to connect with Luke Weissong. Weissong making his 6th reception of the game.
I have a feeling I'm going to be listening to 2 hours of ESPN 1420.
A high likelihood that it'll be a topic on the radio show on Monday. This is a running play. This is Eli Sanders. He gets forward close to the 1st down marker. It'll be about 1.5 yards shy. Our producer, Dan Schmidt, just got in our ear and suggested drop the Micah. That is a completion to Weissong. I don't know, do you want to be mentioning dropping when you're talking about passing the football? I mean, I get the play on the words,
Right.
but It's a work in progress, let's just say that. Another first down here for New Mexico. Are they going to get a playoff? And they do. This will be the last play of the quarter. Sanders coming to the near sideline, and a good game there. And so just like that, Lobos driving deep into Hawaii territory. They will have the ball in prime position here to try to see if they can cut further into this deficit. Fourth quarter on senior night. We could be in for a fun one, folks. Welcome back. Time now for the Hawaii Honda Dealers highlight reel. And we are looking at the numerous highlights put together by first-time starter Micah Alejado. A record 32 completions for a Rainbow Warrior, making his first start at quarterback. 395 yards. That's closing in on a record. 4 touchdowns, also a record high in a starting debut at QB. He's been sensational.
He's slinging it. And I got another one for you. Ali Mojo.
Ali Mojo. Okay.
That's from Abu Ma'afala.
All right, let's send it down to Jordan Helly. Jordan, do you have any nickname suggestions, or do you have injury reports for us?
Maybe both, yeah. Micah Missile, perhaps, on those throws.
Okay.
But quick update, Peter Manuma got the ankle retaped. We didn't see him to start this series, but he's out there to start this snap to start the fourth quarter. And another one, Pofele Ashlock, dealing with a foot injury. It's something to keep your eye on, guys. Back up.
Appreciate the update there, Jordan. Here is Eli Sanders almost getting to pay dirt there. As New Mexico, we were talking about the response by the Hawaii offense. They ended up settling for a field goal. The Lobos have absolutely marched here down the field. There's 23 yards on that carry by Sanders.
Over 1,000 yards for Sanders, one of the more prolific backs in the Mountain West Conference.
The mosh pit will get New Mexico to the 1 yard line, maybe just inside the one. Devin Dampier, who already has 2 rushing touchdowns.
Looking for number 19, possibly.
Yeah, he has 18 now on the season. 2 in this game.
He's the real deal. He's going to be somebody you're going to deal with for the next couple of years if he's still in the Mountain West Conference.
An opportunity to turn this into a one-possession game. Dampier taking it himself. And it's like clockwork for this guy. His 3rd rushing touchdown, give him 19 rushing TDs on the season. And it's now 31-22 pending the point after here for Hawaii and this advantage.
Dampier is not that far away from being a good thrower of the football as well. A little bit of footwork stuff, a little bit of arm angle stuff, but he can run it. He has patience. He has athleticism. Only 5'10", but Mike is proving you don't have to be real tall to be proficient.
And the kick, Drzwicki, is good, and so that cuts it to an 8-point lead, and so it is indeed a one-possession game, and still almost 14 minutes left. Remember, Bronco Mendenhall's team has played well in the second half, particularly on defense here as of late. They've allowed an average of just 4.3 points per game in second halves over the last 4 games. Let's check out tonight's Hyundai head-to-head stat line. We're going to look at the 2 quarterbacks. They have put on respective shows here. Devin Dampier, 223 total yards. Micah Alejado, 420 total yards. 395 of those coming through the air. And for Dampier, he's got 148 in terms of passing yards and 75 on the ground.
And so if he gets 25 more yards, is it a triple-double or a double-triple? That's a new term that, you know the basketball term, but I think they're calling it a double-triple.
Yeah, double-triple is what it has been referred to. Dampier, who's done it now 5 times. He's only played in 12 career games, basically, or at least 12 career starts, and he has 5 double triples where he has run for 100 yards and passed for 100 yards in a game.
Yeah, and Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator, I like the conceptual design of this offense. They got a good running back. The offensive line, as you mentioned, doesn't give up a lot of sacks. Hawaii's playing good defense, but you mentioned it's a one-score game all of a sudden.
Yeah, and so what has felt like a Hawaii performance that has had them sitting comfortably.
Coming out party.
You look at this scoreboard, and this is very much in doubt here. Hawaii needs to establish a couple more scoring drives to help put this thing away.
And the one statistic you mentioned, they're much better in the second half on defense. So they make adjustments at halftime. We'll see if they can stop this young phenom.
Now, this has been the headline story for the Rainbow Warriors. The performance of Micah Alejado. 32 of 51 for 395 and 4 touchdowns. And they're going to run a draw play here. This is Christian Vaughn on the carry. He gets forward for a handful.
3-3-5 defense. That allowed Hawaii to check to the run game inside zone, pick up good 4 or 5 yards. Christian Vaughn, he shows ability, he shows strength, power.
Alijado surveying. Now he's going to book it, and he's going to get to the first down marker and wisely slides to avoid any kind of damage.
We mentioned talent, we mentioned all these other things, but being cerebral, not taking unnecessary hits, knowing where the first down marker is. And again, smart decision. If you're only rushing 3, you got 8 guys defending 4. Not a lot of openings, but if you can run and pick up the first down, so be it.
We got whistles here.
After review, the runner was down at the 34-yard line, short of the first down.
It's where you slide, right? Not where you end up. When you initiate the slide.
And so obviously one of those expedited reviews from upstairs communicated to the crew down on the field so that they didn't have to do a formal review.
That's where the ball is.
Is the ball still not right at the first down marker even then, though? I mean, that is the rule. It is where they initiate the slide. But is that still not enough for a first down based on that replay angle?
And sometimes for us, it's an optical illusion in terms of camera angles, but that was close.
So he's starting the slide. That's here. So if that's where they rule he initiated the slide, then that would be just on the other side of the 35-yard line. So that would be, at least by virtue of that angle, a little bit short. And that's exactly where they're spotting it here. So it is going to be 3rd and short now for Hawaii. Timmy Chang arguing his point, but I don't think he's going to win that one.
It's going to be a huge 3rd down for the Rainbow Warrior offense and also for New Mexico's defense. It'll be interesting, the play selection. I don't think you're going to give Landon Simmons.
Hawaii is not being charged a timeout. 3rd down.
So Hawaii now 7 of 13 on 3rd down here, Rich.
You know, that slow developing type of run. You're in empty, so therefore the ball's in the hands of number 12.
So here we go. Alijado going to throw, and is that caught? Yes, it is. Caught by Mokiao Atimalala for a Hawaii first down.
How big is that?
And how easy did Micah make it look?
I'll tell you one thing. It seems to be like, that ball could have been trapped.
And this is going to be whistle dead. This is going to be reviewed. And I think that there is a chance, like you're alluding to, that might get reversed. Let's bring in Kyle Valdera, our rules analyst. Kyle, what do you think looking at that replay?
Yeah, so good news for you, H, is that it was called a catch. And it's important to remember that the ball can move. So even if it is moving, but now we see it hitting the ground there, it does seem to be trapped. And now you see the ball even spinning around on the ground a bit. I think this is going to be overturned incomplete.
So when you're saying the ball can move, can you elaborate?
So I think a lot of people are under the impression that if you have the ball and it's moving around, you don't have control. That's not the case. You can have control with movement, but in that case, when the ball is moving on the ground, you obviously don't have control. So because of that, as we take another look here, the ball is going to come into the hands, kind of squeak through, and now that point hits the ground, and now it's moving around. I would say incomplete based on that view.
Oh boy, and that is huge if this gets reversed, because then it's 4th and 1. Hawaii had already been stopped going for it on 4th and 1 earlier in this half, leading to a New Mexico touchdown, and they will likely decide to punt this away. I would imagine so. You wouldn't really want to roll the dice again in this situation, right?
Yeah, and that's where that word incontrovertible comes up in. To me, it
After
looked
further
like...
review, the ruling of a catch stands.
Whoa!
First down.
Wow, that's a bit of a surprise.
It's a big one for the home team.
I have to admit, I think we're all sitting in the booth up here. Kyle, yourself, me, I think we're all a little surprised by that
Survived the
non-reversal.
ground with the catch, though.
But again, Kyle pointed out the ruling on the field was a catch. So it has to be, as you said, incontrovertible. They have to have conclusive evidence in order to justify a reversal. And so Hawaii, with the first down, able to breathe a little easier, and a little bit of breathing room supplied by Cam Barfield.
How big was that in terms of momentum?
That was a big potential reversal had that ultimately been ruled an incompletion. Now Hawaii going with a little bit of tempo. Here's Senecal on the outside. That's a first down. Hawaii venturing into New Mexico territory.
Bubble screen, right? Micah throws that a little bit behind the receiver, but it's good to see the bubble. Need to see the tunnel screen. Need to see smoke throws, because this young man's making
Timeout for
decisions.
injury, number 18 of the defense.
So that's Cam Watts, who is making his way to the New Mexico sideline. Yeah. He's played a pretty good game here. This could be some friendly fire. Let's take a look. Ooh, yeah, that was Christian Ellis, the team leader in tackles with 92 coming into this game. He was the one who delivered most of that blow on Cam Watts. Watts with 5 tackles so far in this contest. Well, we are getting a few more suggestions for a Micah Alejado. I think we're looking for a nickname similar to the Shager Bomb for a deep pass or something like that for Micah Alejado. We have a couple of people on Twitter who are suggesting Alejado Poppers. That's interesting. What about alley-oop? Like in basketball, the alley-oop. That's not bad.
Phone lines are blowing up. Text messages.
Yeah, there you go. I think we can get a couple of segments out of that on the radio show on Monday.
5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And the penalty going against Hawaii there. 11:05 left to play in this fourth quarter. Taking a look at Sergio Muasau at center. Elevated back to the starting center position due to an injury to Ethan Spencer. 1st and 15. Alejado going to run with it. And he will slide to try to avoid any kind of significant hit.
The helmet came off. I think it's the hairdo. That's the second time.
And that means he's going to have to go.
Helmet off, number 12 of the offense.
That means he's going to have to go back to the sideline here for one snap.
For a play.
Speaking of the hairdo, on the Game On show pregame, did you see Micah's hairdo? I wonder if mom and dad approve of that. It is a little bit kind of out there.
If he plays like this, he can wear his hair any way he wants to. Not to mention, at this stage of my life, I'm not here to judge anybody on how they wear their hair. So John Kiave Sangapolutele swinging it out here to Mokiao Atimalala.
Kind of liking the play calling. Again, that's a little bit fake the inside zone RPO, have the ability to run, triple option, and then throw the bubble. I think Timmy Chang's failing his oats in terms of a play calling.
Well, Micah Alejado with the 410 yards passing has set the freshman single game passing record held previously by his head coach Timmy Chang, who had 403.
Timmy Chang has so many records, and they're starting to be broken
by his true frosh. That one's going to go against Hawaii obviously had several Rainbow Warriors who were moving before the snap. And this is an important juncture of this fourth quarter. I mean, Hawaii, the only thing that could spoil this performance by Micah Alejado is if Hawaii does not finish this game off. And they're going up against a New Mexico team that has played some really, really good defense in fourth quarters over the last 4 games. As we take a listen.
Ball start, several players on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remain third down.
And a New Mexico offense that, as we have already established, is as explosive as any. And so this thing is far from done. And Hawaii has quite a bit of work to do here. And this is an important possession.
When they say false start, several players on the offense, usually on the center. He's got to snap the ball because everybody else is moving.
9 penalties for 77 yards for Hawaii. Alejado gonna unleash it deep. It is caught! Jonah Panoke! And Hawaii is on the doorstep.
Jonah's got to be careful to not stand over the player, but what a throw, what a catch.
Whether you want to call it a Micah missile, an alley-oop, that was a deep bomb.
Watch this throw. Defender draped all over number 1, Jonah Panoke, but he stays with the play longer than the opponent. What a catch.
Just an absolute dime, 45 yards. Alejado dropping it in the bucket.
Are we talking 500 yards passing?
First and goal. Alijado going to throw on the run. It's in and out of the hands. What would have been another touchdown catch for Jonah Panoke.
I'm calling it quarterback draw right here. I want to see Micah score a rushing touchdown. I don't want to see him get hurt, though.
Alijado now up to 455 yards passing.
We're witnessing a heroic.
He's thrown the ball 54 times, which is also a freshman single game record. Second and goal. They're bringing the blitz. Alijado to a wide open Tamatoa Mokiao Atimalala. And another 6 for the home team.
A lot of time left, right? 8:48. I wouldn't say turn out the lights, the party's over, but all the offense does is continue to respond. I like how he gets a little deeper in his drop, surveys the field, finds Tamatoa.
Touchdown pass number 5 for Micah Alejado. Suzawa point after is good. This has been a revelation in the season finale for the Rainbow Warriors, who now lead 38-23.
2018.
This guy is having a night that he will never forget. In his first ever start at the collegiate level, Micah Alejado has been absolutely incredible. 5 scoring drives for UH of 74 yards or more, 6 scoring drives total, 5 touchdowns and a field goal. That last drive, 75 yards, 10 plays, 5:05, and it was Tamatoa Mokiao Atimalala on the 3-yard touchdown catch. And so now you look at the numbers, and Micah Alejado has set a record for completions, attempts, yards, touchdowns for any University of Hawaii quarterback in his first career start.
13 of those passes over 15 yards. So it's not just the quick game, the screen game. It's intermediate, it's deep balls, it's accuracy. We're witnessing history.
Yeah, the 5 touchdown passes as the fair catch is signaled for New Mexico by D'Angelo Mays. The 5 touchdown passes, the most in general for Hawaii since Cole McDonald against Duquesne in 2018.
How about the people that waited up to watch the last game of college football on this Saturday evening? Mexico comes in as a 6-point favorite. Didn't know who was going to start at quarterback for Hawaii. number 12.
Yeah. Unbelievable. This is a pass to Wysong, and he is laid out immediately. Bo Brown having nothing of it.
And when we talked to Dennis Thurman about losing both of these corners, who Pro Football Focus has, as a tandem, has rated so highly, I think Dennis Thurman can go out and get some corners that can cover, because his resume is impressive.
2nd and 10. This is a New Mexico offense that can score in a hurry. Dampier, perfect strike on the number to Luke Wysong. And had he just kind of maneuvered straight forward, would have probably gotten the first down, but he tried to loop it back around, and they'll still be a couple yards shy.
Yeah, he pivots. He's trying to make a defender miss, but actually loses yardage and gets hurt in the process.
Yeah, looks like he's now limping around a bit. So 3rd and 2. Will be an option play. Dampier going to get close. Might be just shy, maybe about the size of a football or less shy of that first down marker.
Little fake, inside run, kind of slips, loses his balance, but keeps moving forward, north and south, short of the first down.
New Mexico, 1 for 1 on 4th down. They don't have to go very far. It's Dampier. He'll get it. So they will move the chains, and they'll mark him down close to the 40-yard line. So some of the statistics continue to roll in here for Micah Alejado, and this puts things into a pretty incredible perspective. The passing yardage of 458, most passing yards by an FBS freshman this year, and tied for the most passing touchdowns by any FBS freshman this season.
Just so you know, there's 133 FBS football teams. That's impressive.
Yeah, and a fair amount, you would imagine, of freshmen who have had opportunities to put together some strong performances out there, as Dampier always putting together strong performances and doing so with his feet there.
And you think about stars, right? 5-star, 4-star, top recruits in the country. Mike Alejado, if he's 6 foot tall, he's a 5-star, 4-star, and probably at a Power 4 conference.
Yeah, he's on the Nike private jet, getting wined and dined by the likes of Oregon, being brought into Georgia and those kinds of programs if he is 6'2" or something along those lines. But it just goes to show that it's not always about the prototype, especially at the collegiate level. And hey, look, this guy is very early on in his college career, and this is not the largest sample size for sure, but I think we've seen enough to know this guy can play the game. He might not be the tallest quarterback behind there, but the skill set is absolutely undeniable. Dampier throwing on the run, and that is a good-looking ball. Gets home for a first down. It is once again Ryan Davis who has had a strong performance. That's his 5th catch. He's up around 60 yards in receiving. And Peter Manuma, almost like he is just utilizing the last drops of what he has left physically here in this season finale. 17-yard gain there. And this is going to be a fierce run by Naquari Rogers.
You could hear that hit up here. That was helmet to helmet, but again, not intentional, not called, but that was violence at the point of attack.
Yeah, Justin Sinclair was the Hawaii guy. Kaboom.
Ooh, that is ram tough, and Justin Sinclair took the brunt of it.
All right, and so this may be looked at, and this is interesting because you had the offensive player lowering the helmet.
The problem with that is never
Timeout.
called on the offense.
Hawaii. This is their 2nd timeout of the half.
I'd be shocked if
Media
it's called
time.
on the offense.
So Hawaii signaling for a timeout. We'll take a break as well. We'll see how it plays out here with regard to that last play.
16.
Welcome back. There's your scenario. 4:52 left to play here. Season finale for the Rainbow Warriors. New Mexico hoping that this is not a season finale. If they can get a win, they would be bowl eligible. Rainbow Warriors trying to play the role of the spoiler here and leading 38-23.
During that break, Kyle Galdera and I were talking about when two players lower their helmet and it's like simultaneous contact. I've never seen it called on the offense. Seen it called on the defense, but who's at fault there?
Yeah, but it can be called on the offensive
sure.
player. And by virtue of that initial replay, it looked like there was at least a possibility that that could be considered. But they continue play here, 2nd and short for the Lobos. Under 5 minutes to go. Dampier in trouble. Staying on his feet. Throws on the run. It is incomplete. But the ability to go Houdini in the pocket there, unbelievable. Dampier a bit slow to get up after the play, though.
Shoe came off. Seems like he's a little bit banged up, but you're right. This is Houdini action. There's Tariq Jones. There's Peter Manuma. There's Jalen Smith. To get that throw off, wow, that is heroic.
Yeah, one of the most impressive incompletions you will ever see.
Exactly. Sometimes we talk about those runs that go 3 or 4 yards.
We're downfield. Number 5 was covered up. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Oh, all right, so ineligible receiver downfield.
And man line of scrimmage is covering up the receiver inside, making him ineligible. So therefore, the formation, the Z receiver should have been off the ball, making the inside receiver eligible.
That's why he's the resident football guru, folks. Rich Miano.
Kyle told me that quickly.
2nd and 6. Dampier keeping it, following his blockers. Gets inside the 20. And that was interesting. He had one of his linemen who was working as an escort. That was the right guard, Richard Pierce, transfer from East Carolina, who was trying to carry him almost like a UPS driver, trying to deliver him as far downfield as possible.
330, 320, 314, 340 again, and 335.
Yeah, this is a big O-line here for New Mexico. They got some flesh out there. This is Rogers on the run. So the clock as much of a factor here as the score for the Lobos. They need a touchdown.
This guy, Peter Manuma, has been banged up all game, but he's out there.
You figure a field goal would still keep a 2-possession game. That wouldn't really serve much here for the Lobos at this juncture. So they need a touchdown to give themselves a chance. And we have another player down on the field for Hawaii.
Timeout for injury. Number 19 in defense.
That's Deion Washington, the transfer from Nevada. Been an interesting season in the Mountain West Conference. UNLV getting the win today, so it is officially UNLV and Boise State, who I think, have been considered really for the vast majority of the season the 2 best teams in the league. They're going to be playing for the Mountain West Championship.
Yeah, even if you go back to last year, right? UNLV, the transformation under Barry Odom's been so impressive athletically. They lose their quarterback after week number 4, but it just keeps on going because it's system, it's athletes, it's coaching, and impressive job by UNLV.
What about a win last night for San Jose State? Ken Niumatalolo, we know about all the Hawaii ties on that coaching staff, and they end up taking down Stanford, and they have 7 wins. They are a bowl-eligible team.
So impressive what Kenny Niumatalolo as well as Craig Stutzman. You talk about Nick Nash leading the nation in receiving yardage. I think touchdowns too, because it's...
Yeah, he kind of pulled off the Triple Crown here. And so maybe a candidate for the Hawaii Bowl, San Jose State.
That would be nice.
I mean, the connections there would make it, I think, pretty attractive for a lot of the would-be ticket purchasers around here.
Got to have a local flavor.
if at all possible. Probably good for the game itself, but, we're a little biased, obviously. We look at things through the island lens. 3rd and 1. Dampier had to go down to get that snap. It is a give. That's going to reach inside the 5. That'll be enough for a first down. So 1st and goal coming up. Another carry for Naquari Rogers. And New Mexico, of course, also a team that is playing for a bowl spot, and they could be considering the Hawaii Bowl as a possible destination. And that is Rogers. Did he get across? No, they're going to rule him down shy of the goal line. So New Mexico still with all 3 of its timeouts. Hawaii has 1. You still have the 2-minute timeout.
Tempo, they're going quick, right?
They'd like to score quickly. That would be best if they can punch it in here. Do they? Another hard hit right at the goal line, and yes, they will rule this a touchdown. The plane was broken. And once again, pending this point after, a 1-possession game here.
And that's power football, and I mentioned the size of the offensive line. Well, the H-back is a big boy, too. 303 pounds, number 38. Can you imagine your H-back being over 300?
Yeah, Isaiah Silliman, he is a former guard, actually played offensive guard last year for New Mexico, made 3 starts last season. One of them was against Hawaii at the guard position, and now listed as a tight end. So Naquari Rogers with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. The point after by Drizwicki is good, and the separation on the scoreboard is 8 with 2:34 left to play. How about that for a little season finale, senior night drama here down the stretch?
It's going down to the end. Again, Micah's going to have to take the ball, move it down the field in the 4-minute, well, it's a 2-minute drill almost, right? You got that 2-minute timeout. New Mexico State has 3 timeouts as well, so this is going to be an impressive drive potentially for the young freshman signal caller.
Yeah, New Mexico with 3 timeouts. So are you looking to kick this deep if you're the Lobos? Are you thinking of doing anything different from that with the 3 timeouts?
Well, we got plenty of time to get the ball back. The problem is even if Hawaii goes 3 and out, which they haven't done, I don't think, at all this game, there's still going to be time on the clock, but you got to judiciously use those timeouts.
Yeah, there was 1 3-and-out drive for Hawaii in this game, but that's it.
And that was a drop ball by Nick Senecal, because Micah's been money. Micah money?
I think that was among the suggestions if we haven't seen it. Last 3 New Mexico possessions, by the way, all resulting in touchdowns. So if you're Hawaii, you do not want to give this ball back to the Lobos.
Hands team on the field.
Oh, and they're going onside here. And it is going to be claimed by Hawaii. Oh, that was pretty hairy for a second there, but it is Spencer Curtis who winds up with it, making the special teams play. Oh boy, that was interesting for a nanosecond.
That's why they call it the hands team. Spencer Curtis may have the best hands on the team. This is a good pop, though. When you look at how you design this with a little bit of trickery, but watch how the ball pops. Wow, that ball's on the ground. Great job by Spencer Curtis.
Yeah, it was Nick Senecal was the first black shirt there
hit
in the area, got popped right as his hands were gripping the football. And so that could have resulted in a much different kind of play there. But it is Hawaii football, and it is Cam Barfield on the carry. And he's able to fight for some hard yardage, gain of 4.
Timeout, New Mexico.
And New Mexico will be forced to use one of its remaining 3 timeouts. Again, they still have the 2-minute timeout as well. So Hawaii just basically a couple of first downs away from locking this thing up.
Pretty impressive run. Cam Barfield was hit behind the line of scrimmage. Again, that was a counter. We haven't seen a lot of counters where you have the changing of math with the guard and the H-back pulling. But contact was almost behind the line of scrimmage, but Cam Barfield picks up 4 or 5 valuable yards.
I wonder, based on this performance by Micah Alejado, you know, how many other potential recruits are watching this, maybe receivers, maybe other offensive players who are thinking the potential is once again there here if you project forward for this Hawaii offense to turn back into a juggernaut. And I don't think we are overstating things based on what we have seen so far.
Well, I can't wait to talk to June Jones about it because he's going to be very impressed.
Barfield hit in the backfield. And that is Devin Brandt Epps shutting it down. And it looks like New Mexico will allow for the final seconds that lead into the 2-minute timeout to tick off. Meanwhile, Hawaii on the other side of the 2-minute timeout will face a 3rd and close to the original 10 yards.
Saving those timeouts potentially for offense.
A 3rd down conversion of epic proportions awaits on the other side of this break.
Check City Mill.
Welcome back. Micah Alejado has put together a stellar performance here tonight. It has been eye-popping. It has been record-breaking. And this is what he has done in the 4th quarter, where he has been 5 of 6 with a touchdown pass, 65 yards, part of his 458 and 5 touchdown pass effort here this evening. But can Hawaii finish the deal? A 3rd and about 10 here out of the 2-minute timeout. And I don't think it is in the interest of Hawaii in any shape, form, or fashion to give this ball back to a New Mexico offense that has not been stopped now on 3 straight drives. Alijado with the blitz coming, looking downfield. He is scrambling. He's going to have to throw. He does on the run. It's caught. And is that enough for a 1st down? Spencer Curtis on the receiving end. And yes, it is. Hawaii moves the chains.
All of the plays this evening, that one was incredible because he's going to his right. He's a lefty. Spencer Curtis coming back to the football, but there's no bigger 3rd down in University of Hawaii senior night history. Curtis doing a nice job of knowing where the chains were to pick up that 1st down.
And this is Barfield. Barfield getting 1st down yardage and more. So they will stop the clock momentarily to move the sticks, and then it'll get ticking again. New Mexico's going to have to use these 2 timeouts here, but Hawaii is closing in.
13 yards on that pickup.
Timeout, New Mexico. This is their 2nd timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
This would take something miraculous, a turnover or something to that matter, because Hawaii.
Will the clock operator please reset the game clock to 1:38. 1:38.
It's not over.
It's not over, but it is ironic because much of the talk coming into this week with Hawaii not having any bowl game to play for, coming in with the 4-7 record, that this was senior night, and you have experienced, Rich, senior night as a player, as a coach, as an analyst. I think it is common knowledge senior night is a bit different here in the islands than it is anywhere else in the country. And it is ironic that on a night where 23 seniors are going to be celebrated and sent off with the symbolic aloha from the home fans, that it is a true freshman that has stolen the show and has changed, I think, in one 4-quarter starting performance, has changed the way a lot of Hawaii fans are going to be thinking about the future of this program. And I don't think, again, that we are overstating it when we say that.
No, and you may wake up and read the paper. You may see some highlights on social media, but if you are here and you witness this, incredible performance.
And he is going to keep it himself. He will stay in bounds. And so New Mexico going to be forced to use this last timeout.
Timeout, New Mexico. This is their 3rd and final timeout. 30-second timeout.
So 2nd down coming up. And Hawaii getting awfully close here.
Please reset the game clock to 1:31. 1:31.
Figure one more 1st down without a doubt would do it.
So impressive.
This will be the talk of the town for some time. This will change, I think, a lot of the conversation about what this program will be looking to do in the offseason, the different kinds of pieces that they'll be looking to add. I mean, this does alter the narrative considerably.
Yeah, even the prognosticators that were talking about Timmy Chang being fired and all those things, I think this not necessarily gets an extension, but there'll be talk of that because the future's bright with number 12.
And he's going to keep it, and he's going to run for a 1st down, and he's going to stay in bounds. Gets the 1st down, and now he is peacocking. Look at this guy. Drinking it in. Micah Alejado has arrived.
Malcolm Lutu, John Heine normally protect Timmy Chang. That's the security detail. They might have to protect this guy. He'll be here signing autographs all evening.
18-yard scamper there for Micah Alejado. 53 rushing yards to go along with his 469 passing yards.
122.
I heard
Start on the snap.
I heard Kavika Hallams is transitioning out of the police department to private security. That's his first client.
And now Hawaii, the best formation in football, the victory formation. And this Rainbow Warrior football team will end 2024 on a victorious note.
What a special senior night. It's going to be 6 in a row, 7 in a row now, 11 out of the last 14 or 12 out of the last 15.
This will be the 7th straight senior night victory.
Unbelievable. That goes to show you you're playing for more than yourself. That's special.
Well, and for Hawaii, too, regardless of who the starting quarterback was, for them to put together a performance against a quality opponent like New Mexico, a team that made a statement that was heard nationwide when they took down nationally ranked Washington State 2 weeks ago. For Hawaii to be able to pick itself up after getting shellacked in Logan, Utah, and to do this against the Lobos, this is going to make that guy, Timmy Chang, feel awfully good. He's going to sleep well tonight. And Micah Alejado, a performance for the ages in a Rainbow Warrior uniform. 37 of 57 passing, 469 yards, 5 touchdowns, and we mentioned the 54 rushing yards.
And I'm speechless, and that doesn't happen very often.
It's the end of the game.
And this game is officially powered. The career for that guy is just beginning, and great to see the senior Braden Shager, one of the first to go over and congratulate his freshman teammate. Ah, yes, it is all good.
Selfie time.
Bank of Hawaii presents the players of the game. Devin Dampier, quarterback for New Mexico, 19 of 31, 176 yards. Did not have any passing touchdowns, but did rush for 3 TDs, and he ran for 101. So he has the double triple once again, his 6th this season. And Micah Alejado, he just goes gargantuan, a gaudy stat night for the True Frosh in his first career start. Breaking records, most passing touchdowns and yards for a freshman this year at the FBS level, setting a record for any Rainbow Warrior in a number of different categories in their first career start. Rich, how do you start to summarize what we have just seen?
Well, I think you can safely say that is the future. Timmy Chang doesn't need to find a new home or a new program, because Chris Brown, Timmy Chang, whoever was responsible, we talked about Jemai Otis, we've talked about Elijah Palmer. This Bishop Gorman connection is paying dividends.
A star has officially been born here in Manoa. It comes on senior night, the season finale, 38-30, the final score. Hawaii ends year 3 in the Timmy Chang era with 5 victories. Post-game show will be popping. They will cover the senior night festivities. And that will do it for us. Rich Miano, it has been another wonderful season working by your side. I want to thank our entire crew, Kyle Galdera, Jordan Helly. But for now, on behalf of the rest of this Spectrum Sports production team, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Until next time, aloha.